This rusty, broken knife. Sut ignored in a latrine heap for 20 years. But on the awakening platform, I publicly knelt and begged it to become my spirit weapon. Thousands of teachers and students below laughed at me, calling me a complete idiot. But what they don't know is, this broken blade contains 18 top-tier spirit beings, each one powerful enough to shock the entire world. However, aside from number 13, the beautiful spirit who wants to cultivate with me, the rest all want to tear me apart. Just because when I succeeded in awakening with the Keelin, I gained the ability to improve together. As long as I kill enemies, we both gain experience. The system even rewarded me with a secret martial skill. Others get stronger by either spending a lot of money or risking their lives. But all I have to do is kill monsters to become the strongest spirit master. Just as I was feeling super excited inside, a stir suddenly broke out in the crowd. Dozens of strange figures appeared right after, surrounding us from all sides. The teachers on site immediately grabbed their spirit weapons to fight. But then something strange happened. The teachers were actually overpowered by second-tier masked ghosts. Some bold students also joined the fray. But those students lacking combat experience were killed by the masked ghosts in no time. What was bizarre was, the textbooks clearly say, masked ghosts are beasts that are active only at night, and only a few ever appear at once. But now it's broad daylight, and there are so many appearing at the same time. As I was thinking about this, a masked ghost suddenly charged at me. Campus Queen Shen Yuwei quickly moved to shield me behind her. Be careful. A rose sword suddenly appeared in her hand. A shadow of eerie energy instantly materialized behind her. Then it vanished into her body. At that moment, I could clearly sense her aura getting much stronger. Just as Shen Yuwei prepared to fight, Gut Pain, that bootlicker, suddenly jumped out. Xiaowei, these monsters aren't even worth your time. Then he glanced at me, his eyes full of disdain. I'm not like some frank trash who can only hide behind women. But Shen Yuwei ignored him. She whispered to me, take care of yourself. With that, she rushed toward her struggling classmates. Suddenly, the system's voice sounded.
Task triggered.
Host, please kill the trial puppets. The moment I saw the mission, everything became clear. So these masked ghosts were actually just a school exam set up for us. Gut Pain spit at me. Trash, stay away from Xiaowei. The gap between us was decided the moment our spirit weapons awakened. Finishing his words, he charged into the masked ghosts, wielding his broadsword. Who's the trash? You'll find out soon enough. Activate 1,000 blades. A phantom shadow merged into my body. Suddenly, a broken blade appeared in my hand. I activated the secret skill and quickly weaved through the crowds. It was as if they couldn't see me at all. Step by step, I got closer to Gut Pain. At that moment, he was swinging his broadsword. He had the upper hand, but just couldn't finish off the masked ghosts. Suddenly, he gritted his teeth and poured all his spirit energy into the broadsword, slashing fiercely at the masked ghosts. The masked ghosts, panicked, could only roll to the side to escape. Just then, a broken blade pierced through a masked ghost's chest. Right after I heard the system alert, EXP increased by 5. Gut Pain roared in anger. You trash! Don't interfere here. I looked at him with a big smile. We're classmates after all. It's only right to help each other. No need to thank me too much. So I stayed hidden near Gut Pain. Any masked ghost he wounded, I'd finish off with one strike, until the ground was covered with masked ghost corpses and injured students. The system sounded again. Experience is sufficient. Does the host wish to level up? Does the spirit weapon wish to be refined? Suddenly, the principal stormed over to us, furious. Line up again. Everyone looked utterly confused. I immediately found my place. Many classmates were whispering among themselves. What's going on? Is this hell? Good thing I haven't cleared my phone browser history. The principal's roar came again. Everyone, keep quiet. The whole field instantly went silent. Then he said, how dare you still gossip? At a time like this? Campus recruitment is in 2 months. A bunch of puppets left you all in such a mess. I'm very disappointed in you. Hearing this, everyone hung their heads in shame. But I leisurely checked my attribute panel. Can't believe the system can directly refine spirit weapons. Others need tons of rare materials for this. and may not even succeed in one try. If anyone else found out, they'd be green with envy. Better just go back and quietly level up. The principal's lecture was wrapping up, but a rare few students still did well. Now, those whose names I call stepped forward. 5 people were called in total. Among them were me and Shen Yue. The school even awarded 10,000 yuan and a bottle of jingling serum. Sitting on my bed, I focused my thoughts, and 1,000 blades appeared in my hand. Every time I see it, it feels like a second-hand weapon. Bro, shouldn't you show yourself already? No sooner had I finished speaking than a man in a straw hat and plain clothes. His phantom slowly materialized on the blade, his eyes full of exhaustion. I could even feel his indifference to life. Probably still a problem with the compatibility level. Thinking this, I took out the jingling serum the school gave me and slowly dripped it onto the broken blade. Energy started pouring into the blade. The bloodstains and rust left on the knife were also partially purified. I could sense our bond growing closer. The system also said the compatibility was increasing. Moments later, the system chimed again. Spirit weapon 1,000 blades feels your care. Compatibility increased by 1. Seems like being nicer to him can raise the compatibility. I then tapped the refine and advance button on the panel. 1,000 blades advanced to a level 1 spirit weapon and awakened the frost flash effect. Now I can channel spirit energy into the blade, extending its blade aura and boosting its damage. My level also increased. My physique reached 85. Physique is a composite indicator of many stats. After 1,000 blades, quality improved. The phantom behind me looked more solid, but I still wonder when I'll be like my father's spirit weapon, which could appear in the world even without spirit energy infusion. At some point, my eyes grew moist. My father has been missing for 10 years. No idea if he's dead or alive. Suddenly I remembered. He prepared an adult gift for me long ago. I pulled a box from under my bed, finding a set of protective gear inside.
He even got the size just right.
Dad really thought of everything. After putting on the armor, I left a note for my sleeping mother, then headed toward the city gate. To leave the city gates, you need at least first-tier strength. If you haven't reached it, you have to fill out an application. Basically, it's a voluntary exit. Anything that happens outside isn't the city patrol's responsibility. A guy took the application form. Surprised, he asked, "Are you a student from No. 3 High? Do you know Nanfan Shu?" That's my homeroom teacher. What's up, bro? After speaking, I couldn't help but glance at the name on his name badge. Guan Beatty, heard your name. He lit a cigarette. It's nothing. Stay safe. After my figure disappeared, Guan Beatty just shrugged.
He muttered, "Hope that kid survives and comes back."
Otherwise, your homeroom teacher will skin me alive. Right now I'm holding a stone, watching 2 first-tier Sky Palace dogs in heat. Waited for them to reach the peak of their fight. Activated stealth. Gripped my broken blade and quietly walked over. When they sensed danger, quickly swung at the biggest one's head. Struck almost simultaneously. The skinny Sky Palace dog immediately lunged at me. I instantly rolled to the side. Before I could get up, he pounced again. My blade clashed with its sharp teeth. The dog's bite force kept me from pulling out the blade. I had to let go with both hands. Kicked hard at its belly. My blade dropped along with it. But right then, the blade seemed to gain a life of its own. Returned to my hand again. In the instant the Sky Palace dog hit the ground, I precisely stabbed the blade into its neck, until it stopped struggling. System notification, EXP plus 75. That's quite a bit. But it was definitely a tough fight. Cut off all the valuable materials from the Sky Palace dog. Went to find their den. There were actually 4 pups covered by weeds. Didn't hesitate at all. Stabbed straight down. EXP has already increased to 30. Looks like I only need to hunt a few more monsters. Then both me and my blade can level up again. Next, wandered around the ruins' outskirts. After fighting Sky Palace dogs, I knew which monsters were best to target. Maybe their materials aren't worth much, but they're definitely the most efficient. Non-tier bloodthirsty rats, long serpent frogs, and green-tailed hawks. All harvested. Soon, the system notified me of enough EXP again. Without hesitation, picked it. Under the guidance of spirit power, the broken blade gradually grew to 4 feet 3 inches. It has now become a D-rank weapon spirit. Awakening effect, infinite transformations. The blade can take any shape. I successfully broke through to first tier 2-star. My physique soared to 395. That's almost comparable to the number for 3rd tier spirit masters. Also activated the backstab skill. After one attack, instantly appear behind the target. Then land the second attack. I didn't get to stay happy for long. Suddenly, footsteps caught my attention. Activated stealth skill. Quietly walked toward the sound of footsteps. Ahead, 3 first-tier unicorn demons appeared. Tried out my new skill along the way. It's actually pretty handy. Soon, they turned into EXP and fell to the ground. Imagining different scenarios in my head, wondering how to combo my skills rationally. Suddenly, my phone alarm went off. Oh no, almost forgot Oli's combat class. Feeling incredibly anxious. Wanted to head back. Looking down, saw the freshly killed monsters. Can't bear to give up their materials. Whatever, I'll just put up with a lecture. On No. 3 High's track field, Old Lee was holding a ruler, occasionally smacking students with it. Practice properly for me. Keep going for the next 2 classes. I didn't call an end to combat class. So keep training. The lively bell for the 3rd period finally rang. Just when classmates thought they could rest, Old Lee had everyone line up. Everyone turn right. Run around the field. Don't stop till I say so. You're not allowed to rest any time. They were already running bent over and exhausted. But still, you could hear a stream of complaints. Someone said, "Hey, is that Zhao Han?" Right now I'm getting reprimanded with my head down. Old Lee burning with anger. So you think you're tough now? Don't you know the meaning of combat class? You're just an F-tier weapon spirit. The only thing you can do is train more. I'm doing this for your own good. Don't think that just because you took 2nd place last time you can get cocky. You know that was just luck, right? Faced with Old Lee's endless nagging, I was shaking with rage. Clenched my fist tightly. Old Lee looked at me with disdain. What, you want to take a swing at me? Fine, if you can beat me, you can skip my classes from now on. The classroom atmosphere instantly heated up. Zhao Han versus Old Lee. Don't chicken out. Be a man and don't be scared. Worst case, spend a few days in the hospital. Old Lee still stood there with his hands behind his back, still holding the ruler in his hand, full of military bearing, giving off chills. Mr. Lee, please teach me. As soon as I finished speaking, system notification. Host challenged authority. Attracted the attention of Weapon Spirit No. 9. He's starting to take a little interest in you. Both sides are ready to move. Old Lee unbuttoned his collar. Just then, a striking figure walked between the two. What's going on? Isn't it monster appreciation class now? Why aren't you back in class yet? It was the homeroom teacher, Nanfang Shu. You brat, you got Mr. Lee angry again. All right then, you'll be punished by running till school ends. Old Lee frowned. There's still less than half an hour before school lets out. He knew Nanfeng Shu was deliberately protecting me. He then snorted, carry 100 pounds. System notification sound. Weapon Spirit No. 9 seems to like running. Hosts waited running triggered memories for No. 9. Your persistence makes No. 9 even more curious about you. School bell rings. Just took off my weighted vest. Ready to sell the monster materials. Suddenly, the school beauty called out from behind. Zhao Han, how about the 2 of us walk you home? Everyone was late because of you today. Old Lee made us suffer all day. I'm worried they'll ambush you on your way home. I turned around. Shen Yuwei and Bai Luoshui were coming over. Bai Luoshui is pretty too, but besides Shen Yuwei, she seems to lose her shine. It's fine, you guys just head home. Probably won't run into them anyway. But honestly, I'd love to bump into them. Good way to test my strength. So scared of us following you. Are you planning something shady? He used to be super reserved. Doesn't seem like something he'd usually say. I responded without backing down. Yeah, you're the female lead. Bai Luoshui instantly looked annoyed. You pervert, Zhao Han. Be careful on your way home. In case anything happens, remember to call me. Shen Yue hurriedly pulled Bai Luoshui and left. Not far away, a pair of resentful eyes had been watching the three of us. Inside the trading shop, I was trading monster materials with the staff. 38 pieces of your Tier 1 materials, and 248 pieces of unranked materials. A total of 98,000 RMB. Please check and confirm. After confirming the payment was received, I started browsing around the shop. My brain was already calculating how to allocate this 100,000. Mom's medicine is almost gone. It costs 50,000 RMB for a half-month supply. The rent is also due soon. After leaving some for living expenses, there's only 30,000 left to buy equipment. Walking slowly past each display case, I was suddenly attracted by a ring, because its description stated, the wearer could gain a certain paralysis effect. The price was 28,000 RMB. Normally, private fights are strictly forbidden in the city, but the city patrol has limited resources. Fights inevitably break out in some places. As long as no one dies, they usually just turn a blind eye. With this ring, I won't end up causing casualties when I strike. After buying the ring, I was already looking forward to running into those classmates who wanted to cause me trouble. With a physique of 395, I could beat the crap out of them with one punch. Suddenly, a news broadcast aired in the shop. In the western suburbs, a humanoid monster appeared near the Kaiyuno 3 steel mill. Zhao Han's brow furrowed slightly. I can't be that unlucky, right? Zhao Han's home was right near the No. 3 steel mill. If a high-tier monster had infiltrated, his own home was very likely to be in danger. At this thought, Zhao Han decided to head home quickly. However, before he had gone very far, Zhao Han was blocked by Du Ziteng and his crew. Du Ziteng walked slowly toward Zhao Han, shaking his head and muttering as he walked, Zhao Han, do you know what I hate most? I hate those guys who have no strength, but always love to show off. He threw an arm around Zhao Han's shoulder, tilted his head and smiled. Tell me, you with an F-class junk weapon. On what basis did you take second place? In the Golem trial. You, a poor kid living in an urban village. On what basis do you get so close to Shen Yue? As he spoke, the hand patting Zhao Han's arm suddenly applied force and slapped heavily on Zhao Han's shoulder. His spirit tool was a B-class meteor hammer. One of its greatest traits was immense strength. He didn't think a piece of trash like Yao Han could withstand a single slap from him. However, the smirk on his face froze halfway. Hey, are you done patting? If you're done, it's my turn. Bang! The massive force sent Du Ziteng's body spinning 720 degrees in the air. He tried to crawl up, dizzy and disoriented, but felt like he couldn't find his direction. Du Ziteng's mouth twitched. Damn it, you actually dared to hit me? He felt a wave of numbness on his left cheek. Even his speech was a bit jerky. To speak clearly, he gave himself 2 more slaps on the face. Only then did he point at Zhao Han and curse, Bastard, you dare to hit me? My dad said, I have the potential of a grade 9 spirit master. You dare hit me? Boys, get him. Kill him. Zhao Han was dismissive of their moves. He wasn't even intimidated by their spirit tools, relying solely on his subtle and agile footwork to maneuver around them, occasionally counterattacking with punches. The narrow alleyway prevented Du Ziteng's side from utilizing their advantage in numbers. They were like mobile sandbags, passively taking the beating from Zhao Han. The host's battle against many sent Spirit Tool No. 9 into a flashback. His interest in you is growing. The punch the host threw, in the eyes of Spirit Tool No. 9, would be more practical if it were a knife to the chest. Spirit Tool No. 13 and No. 5 agreed with this suggestion, and all cast disdainful looks at the host. Zhao Han was speechless at this. Aside from whether they could even hurt me, if I really wanted to kill them, I wouldn't be able to stay in Cayenne City past tonight. I'd have to run away with my mom. The spirit tools roasting made Zhao Han very annoyed, and Zhao Han's annoyance was soon vented through his fists onto the four of them. The punches with the paralysis effect left some of the four dragging their arms, while others lay on the ground clutching their legs, gnashing their teeth. As for Du Ziteng, who received special attention from Zhao Han, his face was now swollen like a pig's head, with drool uncontrollably streaming down. A moment later, the only thing left in the alley was Du Ziteng and the others. Panting sounds. Zhao Han walked slowly toward Du Ziteng. Du Ziteng was so scared he backed up repeatedly, accidentally falling flat on the ground. "Don't come over here." Zhao Han burst out laughing. "You're right. Those guys who have no strength but love to show off really are quite annoying." Wails of pain continued to echo from the alley. Fatty Sun, who was keeping watch outside, listened to the sounds while puffing on a cigarette. The corners of his mouth couldn't stop turning up. "Damn it, Zhao Han, that's what you get for showing off. It's a real shame that I didn't get to step in. Otherwise, I'd definitely have to let Zhao Han taste what it means to be crushed by a mountain. I hope Du Ziteng and the guys didn't forget to record a video." Fatty Sun really wanted to join in, but unfortunately he only had a Tier 1 talent cleaver. Normally, he could only be a lackey for Du Ziteng and the others. The screams in the alley continued. At this moment, he had already imagined the scene of Zhao Han being pinned down and pathetically begging for mercy. Serves him right for having a low-class spirit tool. He should stay low-key like me. Why act so tough? He leaned against the wall, feeling satisfied once again with his usual behavior of sucking up to the powerful. Suddenly, he seemed to see a humanoid yet non-human figure rapidly approaching him. In the pitch-black night, that figure moved exceptionally fast. A pair of blood-red pupils were particularly striking in the dark. His eyes widened, and a surge of terror from his heart poured into his legs. Then he turned and fled into the alley. "Run, there's a monster!" In the middle of the main road near the urban village in the west, Old Man Li, who had never been here before, looked up at the messy electrical wires and the trash heaps everywhere. From time to time, pungent and strange smells wafted into his nose. His brow couldn't help but knot together. When Old Man Li passed through the alley and appeared before a small square, he looked at the empty square and helplessly lit a cigarette. "Damn it, how exactly do I get to Zhao Han's house?" Suddenly, he seemed to hear a flurry of hurried footsteps, and even some clashing sounds of metal. The intuition of a former soldier surfaced in his heart.
He quickly slipped back into the alley he just came from.
With a thought, a 3-foot-long ruler appeared in his hand. Before long, he saw a familiar figure dash out from the alley opposite the square. "Zhao Han, why is he running so fast?" Before he could finish his sentence, 5 more figures ran out of the alley one after another. But unlike Zhao Han's calmness and being unharmed, they were covered in bloodstains, and their faces were filled with panic. "Zhao Han, don't freaking run. Hurry up and slash that monster like you did just now. Yeah. Go beat that monster like you beat us. Wait for me. Are we even brothers anymore?" The look of confusion on Old Man Li's face deepened. Zhao Han beat them up. Is this a joke? He remembered very clearly that even the weakest one, Fatty Sun, had a physique of 25. How could Zhao Han beat them? Zhao Han's roar echoed through the square. "I swear, are you guys stupid? I told you to split up. Why are you following me the whole way?" However, his words had no effect. The 5 members of Du Ziteng's crew just kept chasing right behind him. Suddenly, a pitch-black figure, nearly as tall as a man, a giant black hound, appeared behind them. It stood on its hind legs like a human. Its blood-red pupils were striking in the night, and its mouth was dripping, drop after drop of saliva. Old Man Li's pupils couldn't help but contract. A Tier 4 monster, the dog god. This isn't a beast from the realm of Daxia, nor is it a beast that Zhao Han and the others can handle. It's not even a beast he can deal with. His mind was racing, thinking of how to resolve the crisis before him. Suddenly, the dog god pushed powerfully with both legs. Its whole body leapt over Du Ziteng. It landed steadily in front of Shahan. But before it could act, a flash of white light streaked across. The selected god was sliced in two. Old Li's confusion deepened. What's happening? A Tier 4 beast was killed by Shahan in one strike. Even though the beast was split in half, Shahan and his 5 companions moved even faster. The next moment, under Old Li's shocked gaze, the dog god sliced in two. Its lower half strode toward its upper half. Then, its upper body turned into a writhing blob of black liquid, blending into its lower half. In just a blink, its upper body grew back. Once again, it rushed toward Shahan and his companions. Shahan was exasperated. From the moment the beast appeared till now, not only did his classmates fail to help him, they stubbornly kept running after him. So he still hasn't escaped danger. Even more frustrating, he's clearly cut the dog god into pieces more than once, but it always manages to recover in moments. As if his attacks have no effect at all. In that instant, Old Li saw a clue. This isn't the real Tier 4 dog god beast. It's actually a godslayer. The real threat is the manipulator behind it. Suddenly, his tense nerves relaxed. He shouted to Shahan and the others. The weak spot is in the chest. Duzi Tang had a stomachache. The 6 of you combined can handle it. Stomachache. The group felt as if they'd heard a familiar voice. They turned to look back, just in time to spot Old Li. They hurriedly called out Mr. Li. Save us. But Old Li just shouted, focus your spiritual power onto your weapon spirit. Attack its chest with everything you've got. I have something else to do. Then he ran off in another direction, as if he hadn't seen them. Duzi Tang was dumbfounded. He even forgot to run for his life, ignoring students' lives and deaths. What kind of teacher does that? But what they didn't know was, from Old Li's point of view, such a godslayer, even the 6 students, no matter how weak, could join forces to kill it. And he needed to go after the mastermind hiding nearby and causing trouble. Catch them suddenly. The dog god lunged forward and grabbed forcefully. A blast of energy shot toward Duzi Tang. Duzi Tang instinctively closed his eyes, bracing for death. As the clang of metal echoed through the whole plaza, Duzi Tang kept his eyes tightly shut. But the pain he'd imagined never came. Instead, he heard Shahan's loud shout. Are you still closing your damn eyes? Did you not hear what Old Li said? Help out now! Duzi Tang opened his eyes to look. He saw Shahan wielding a long blade and clashing with the dog god. He swallowed hard, then channeled spiritual power. A meteor hammer appeared in his hand. Just as he was about to attack, the dog god let out another roar, crushing his newly gathered courage. Fear welled up inside him. Suddenly, he realized the dog god was far too fast. To escape, he had to be ruthless. A bold, reckless idea formed in his mind. He remembered the scene of Shahan hitting him just now. Maybe, if the dog god was busy eating that annoying jerk, he'd not only survive, but never have to see the guy again. Next, the meteor hammer in his hand slammed hard into Shahan's back. Boom! Shahan, along with the dog god, was sent flying by the powerful blow. The sudden strike made Shahan's organs churn violently. He couldn't help but spit blood. If not for his strong physique, that blow could have taken half his life. But he had no time to resent Duzi Tang, because the dog god pinned under him opened its mouth to bite at his neck. Shahan didn't hesitate to raise his fist and smashed it into the monster's giant mouth. The ring on his fist carried a paralyzing effect, so the dog god couldn't close its jaws anymore. Shahan seized the opportunity and gripped his long knife, about to stab its chest. But the blade was grabbed tightly in its palm. Now Shahan was on top, the dog god below. Man and beast. Another contest began. Veins stood out on Shahan's neck, his eyes filled only with murderous intent. The dog god originally held the blade with one hand, but it needed both hands now, just to resist the advancing knife. Bang! It was like the blade shattered something. The dog god looked at its chest in confusion. The blade, originally a fist distance from its heart, now had somehow plunged straight into its chest. The blade suddenly seemed to be a bit longer than before. Weapon Spirit Qianren killed the Godslayer Dog God Tier 2 puppet. Gained 105 experience points. Progression activated for the host. Gained 105 experience points. The Dog God's shadow faded away instantly. Under Shahan's blade, only a piece of yellow paper pierced by Qianren remained. Shahan rose slowly, his chest heaving uncontrollably. Only Shahan truly knew how deadly that moment was. If not for Qianren's new ability, Shape Change, which allowed him to thin and extend the blade, he wouldn't have lasted much longer. He would have been the one to fall. He turned to look back, but saw no sign of Du Ziding and the other 5. He spat on the ground. What a bunch of jerks. At that moment, Shahan finally understood why his mother always told him, sometimes people are scarier than monsters. He silently vowed he'd never do something so stupid again. Detected intense hatred from host. A real man always gets revenge. Congratulations, host mission triggered. Kill Du Zitang. Shahan was stunned. Then a strange smile appeared on his face. Just wait, Du Zitang. We'll settle our score. Meanwhile, the system voice came again. Godslayer Dog God detected. Host, please hunt down and kill the manipulator behind it. He instinctively thought of Old Li. After telling us the weak spot, he turned and headed east. That means the manipulator is in the east. At that moment, not far from the plaza, on the roof of a 6-story building, Old Li kicked open the iron door on the rooftop. He looked left and right, but saw no trace of anyone. Muttering, someone was just here. How did they disappear? Suddenly, he seemed to realize something. He looked downstairs abruptly. He saw a man in a suit, holding the drain pipe with both hands, sliding swiftly to the ground. Then he turned and ran out of the alley. Old Li didn't have time to think. He jumped down from the building. Relying on extraordinary balance and strength, he used several air conditioner units as stepping stones, landing quickly and steadily, then chased after the man in the suit. The man in the suit was fast, but Old Li was even faster. The two of them chased after each other, weaving through alley after alley. The man in the suit seemed desperate to shake off Old Li, so he kept forming various hand seals with his fingers. At the same time, he kept throwing sheets of yellow paper at Old Li. In an instant, the yellow papers transformed into bats one after another, and they swooped toward Old Li. The ruler in Old Li's hand was like a high-speed spinning fan, fending off the attacks. Whenever a bat hit the ruler, it was like a small explosion went off right beside Old Li, erupting with a violent impact. Afterwards, the bats would turn back into sheets of burnt-through yellow paper, falling on either side of Old Li. Yet even at the center of the blasts, Old Li seemed completely unaffected, and kept furiously chasing the man in the suit. The closer Old Li got, the paler the man in the suit became. The gap between the two was closing quickly. Finally, the man in the suit stopped running, turned around and faced off with Old Li. With a thought, a katana appeared in his hand. We don't know each other at all, so why are you being so aggressive?
His Chinese was awkward.
So much so that it made people want to slap him. Old Li's face was cold as ice. We don't know each other at all, huh? Yamatai country's spirit masters are truly the lowest of the low. The man in the suit looked utterly confused. What do you mean by that? I truly don't understand. Old Li stared at him coldly. It's a support combat puppet developed 10 years ago in Shinwa country, based on spiritual power, using artifact spirits, spiritual marrow, or the blood of yokai beasts as mediums. Even ordinary people without artifact spirits could drive them by taking special potions, as a way of turning all of Yamata into soldiers, thus realizing Yamatai's ideal of making everyone a soldier. At last, the man's previously calm face twitched a bit. You're from the Demon Suppression Army. Old Li stared at that pale, lecherous face. Upon hearing this, the man in the suit looked visibly relieved. Let me go. I'll give you 5 million. Slowly, Old Li raised his ruler and pointed it at him, and calmly uttered 2 words, no deal. As soon as he finished speaking, Old Li's figure shot out like lightning. He lunged at the man in the suit, ruler in hand. While night fell, Zhao Han was searching around a shantytown. He had no idea where Old Li had gone, So all he could do was search in roughly the right direction and rely on his instincts. Until he heard a series of explosions. Soon he saw inside an alley, old Li fighting fiercely with the man in the suit. It was the first time Zhao Han had seen old Li go all out. His usually pudgy body had turned incredibly muscular. The ruler in his hand seemed like a 3-foot-long sword, and every swing carried the force of discipline. The man in the suit in front of him gripped the katana tightly with both hands, but could only just barely hold on. Beside the man in the suit was the phantom of a Ronin, holding a long blade identical to his. The two launched a coordinated attack against old Li, but old Li suppressed them, forcing them to merely defend. Old Li's moves were swift and precise. A scholarly-looking phantom occasionally appeared behind him. The suit-clad man and the Ronin were caught off guard. Zhao Han was a bit surprised, able to channel every bit of spiritual energy directly into the blade. No wonder old Li moved so quickly on ordinary days. A typical weapon spirit can only assist a spirit master in battle as a weapon. When the weapon spirit's quality reaches above grade C, and the spirit master achieves 3rd tier power, they can materialize the weapon spirit, enabling weapon spirit and spirit master to fight together, greatly increasing combat power. If the weapon spirit's quality is high enough, even a 1st tier spirit master can materialize the weapon spirit. However, materializing the weapon spirit consumes massive spiritual energy, so lower tier spirit masters don't easily materialize weapon spirits. But old Li's way of materialization left Zhao Han truly in awe. For most of the time, old Li single-handedly handled the suit-clad man and the Ronin weapon spirit. Only at critical moments,
His weapon spirit scholar.
would suddenly appear to smack the suit-clad man or Ronin with a ruler, sending them flying. Such a method not only greatly reduced spiritual energy consumption, but also made Zhao Han realize old Li's control over spiritual energy far surpassed normal people. He fought openly while his weapon spirit struck from the shadows. This was nothing like a scholar, more like an assassin. Old Li really lived up to his reputation as a retired demon-suppressing army member. The suit-clad man's face grew even paler. His perfectly ironed suit was now completely tattered. Blood oozed from the ripped fabric. You could even see destroyed flesh. The Ronin weapon spirit behind him was also struggling. Its form flickered, seemingly about to dissipate at any moment. He raised a hand to halt the fight. "You truly have impressive skills. I admit defeat today. I'll give you 10 million. Just let me go. Out of respect for Amaterasu society. How about it?" Old Li shook his head. The suit-clad man gritted his teeth. Desperate to survive, he could only continue. "Are you really going to fight me to the death? Do you think I snuck into Cayenne City without anyone backing me? If I die here today, your days in Cayenne City won't be much better." Old Li snorted coldly. "You mean the family? Rest assured, even without you lot, there will still be conflict between the demon-suppressing army and the family." At this point, old Li paused. "Besides, as the sage of Daxia once said, since you're here, make yourself at home." The suit-clad man pressed down his rage and asked, "What do you mean?" Old Li looked at him with contempt. "You've come, so just be buried here." In that instant, the weapon spirit scholar behind old Li's back trembled his arms. The loose scholar robe was instantly filled out by prison bar-like muscles. Next moment, the ruler and scholar's hand grew several times larger. With just a single swing, the Ronin weapon spirit was smashed apart. The suit-clad man was forcefully knocked aside. Hiding in the shadows, Zhao Han couldn't help but click his tongue. Good thing I didn't mess with old Li today. With his ability to erupt all spiritual power at once, I could only withstand 3 moves at most. Old Li walked slowly toward the suit-clad man, as if he wasn't in any hurry. But Zhao Han suddenly realized something. Damn, if old Li keeps fighting like this, I won't be able to complete my mission. Zhao Han's figure vanished from his original spot. Using stealth to move through the darkness, he quickly approached the suit-clad man. The suit-clad man, soaked in blood, stood up. His figure staggered, but his smile grew ever more sinister. You forced me. Let's go to hell together. He suddenly grabbed his samurai sword and sliced toward his abdomen. Always calm old Lee, at that moment showed a hint of panic on his face. He swung with all his might, hurling the ruler at the suit-clad man. The ruler smashed heavily into his body. He spewed a mouthful of blood, yet his stance didn't falter. The samurai's sword was nearing his abdomen. His grin was growing even more twisted. His lips silently mouthed words. By the shape of his mouth, he seemed to say, Amaterasu forever. The sound of the long blade piercing flesh let out a dull thud in the night. The suit-clad man's sinister smile froze. He looked blankly down at his chest and saw a long blade cobbled together from fragments appear suddenly right before his eyes. Instinctively, he turned his head, and from the shadow behind him, a youthful face emerged. Thank you, the suit-clad man was tough. Why would someone thank me after getting stabbed? In the next moment, the long blade plunged into his heart was suddenly pulled sideways, shattering his chest. The suit-clad man collapsed powerlessly in a pool of blood. The mechanical system voice chimed in. Weapon Spirit Thousand Blade killed a third-tier Spirit Master. EXP plus 345. Progress together. Host EXP plus 345 triggered. Bond increased by 5. Congratulations to the host for completing the mission. Host's ability rewarded. Enjoy to the fullest. Countless temptations in the world. Only by staying calm can one overcome them. Zhaohan, why are you here? Before Zhaohan could properly examine his system rewards, old Li's voice called out. Zhaohan gave an awkward laugh. Good evening. Mr. Li, don't play dumb. I'm asking, why are you here? Zhaohan pouted. He randomly made up an excuse. I was worried you might run into danger. So I came to check. Old Li was a bit skeptical, but the excuse seemed plausible enough. So he didn't press the issue any further. You were worried about me. Do you realize how dangerous that was? Zhaohan scratched his head. Was it dangerous? I just saw him standing there dumbly, so I went over and stabbed him. Old Li gave him a side eye. He belonged to Amaterasu Society of Japan. He was about to burn his essence and drive his weapon spirit berserk. Had his weapon spirit gone berserk, even I could only temporarily retreat. Zhaohan finally understood and glanced nervously at the suit-clad man lying in a pool of blood. Mr. Li, what exactly is this Amaterasu Society? Old Li shrugged. A Japanese spirit master organization. They've sent plenty of spies into Daxia these years, apparently searching for something. Halfway through, Old Li's attention suddenly shifted to the long blade in Zhaohan's hand. His eyes were filled only with disbelief. Zhaohan, your weapon spirit evolved. Old Li clearly remembered. Zhaohan's weapon spirit used to be a broken blade covered in rust and blood. But after just a few days, it had changed form. Zhaohan apparently wasn't as useless as he'd imagined. Zhaohan nodded, let out a mischievous laugh, and casually made up, yeah, I sold the purified spirit liquid from school. Then added some savings, and bought materials to refine my weapon spirit. I guess I just got lucky. I advanced on my very first try. Old Li was visibly moved when he heard this. His spirit tool started at grade D. When he was young, he saved up for years. He refined it 5 times before finally raising it to grade C. All the money he earned over the years was spent on improving the quality of his spirit tool. But after over 10 refinements, he failed every time. Though the quality of his spirit tool did improve, it never advanced to grade B. He steadied himself and continued asking, so, did your spirit tool advance to level 1? Well, at least you can now. Join some small mercenary groups in Kaiyun City. Mr. Li is a D grade. Zhaohan didn't plan to hide this fact. After all, in 2 months, his graduation certificate would record this information.
Hey, damn.
Zhaohan's answer surprised old Li. Say that again. What grade? D grade? How many times did you refine it? Just once. Old Li fell silent. Right now, his heart was filled with envy and jealousy. Thinking about all the years of hard work he'd put into improving the quality of his spirit tool, He just wanted to ask the heavens what he'd done wrong to end up with such extraordinary luck. Zhao Han saw he was quiet and didn't say anything more. The reason Zhao Han only said he refined it once was to avoid too much explanation. After all, if he did it just once, Zhao Han could claim his family had some savings. But for someone from a family like his, refining multiple times in a row, almost nobody would believe it. With nothing else to do, Zhao Han decided to pick up the sword dropped by the guy in the suit. After the fight, a crisp system sound immediately rang out. Detected an extremely weak grade D spirit tool wave. It will dissipate within 2 hours. Host, do you choose a contract or melting? When spirit tool compatibility is below 60%, the system will force this spirit tool to sign a contract with the host, making it the host's spirit tool. Spirit tools that can't be contracted will be converted into experience by the system and added to the host's existing spirit tools. Zhao Han was a bit stunned. He seemed to have found another way to quickly grow his strength. Just as Zhao Han was wondering how to convince old Li to let him have the spirit tool, a booming voice suddenly called out, "Hey, what are you two doing over there?" A 5-person team from the city patrol strode over to the two of them. "Oh, old Li, what are you doing here?" The leader patted old Li on the shoulder. The two seemed pretty familiar with each other. Zhao Han thought the voice sounded familiar, but couldn't recall where he'd heard it. The man's gaze shifted to Zhao Han. "Hey, it's you. The kid who left the city that night. Your name's Zhao Han, right?" Now Zhao Han remembered. The person wasn't a stranger. It was the captain on guard that night, Officer Badiao. Zhao Han nodded. He sighed inwardly. Looks like he'll have to hand over the spirit tool. According to the regulations of Jia's shelter city, Great Xia, spirit tamers are forbidden from keeping items belonging to hostile organizations. All items must be surrendered. Any violation found will be met with severe punishment. Guan Bajiao frowned. "Old Li, what's going on here? Surely you know that murder is a felony in Shelter City?" Old Li shrugged at Guan Bajiao. "This guy is a member of the Amaterasu Society." Hearing this, Guan Bajiao said no more. Instead, he walked over to the man in the suit, observed his physical features, and signaled with a glance for his subordinates to search the body. A short while later, they found items identifying his persona. "Captain, this guy really is from the Amaterasu Society." But his energy. As the patrol officer spoke, he gave Han a meaningful look. Guan Bajiao's eyes were sharp. He naturally noticed the energy Han was hiding behind his back. But he simply nodded and signaled him to say no more. He turned to old Li and smiled. "I didn't know you were so capable, old Li. You even managed to dissipate his spirit tool. Don't worry, I'll apply for a reward from City Hall on your behalf." After speaking, he turned his team around and left the area, dragging the suit-clad man's body away. Old Li watched the patrol's retreating figures, then gave Han a complex look. "You brat, are you close with Guan Bajiao?" Han looked completely bewildered. "I only met him once when I left the city a couple of days ago." "That's strange. That slippery fox, Guan Bajiao, actually helped you out." After a pause, he asked, "What were you doing out of the city?" Han gave an embarrassed smile. "Well, all my money went into refining my spirit tool. I was just hunting to earn a little extra for living expenses." Hearing this, old Li's mood became complicated. This kid didn't seem as unmotivated as he had thought. A trace of regret unexpectedly rose in his heart. He looked at the spirit tool Han was hiding behind his back, and his stern expression softened slightly. "Fine, stop hiding it. If you've taken a liking to that spirit tool, just take it. But I must warn you, whether you plan to use it or sell it, you need to nourish it with this spirit liquid quickly. Otherwise, without spiritual energy, a low-level spirit tool like this will soon dissipate." As he spoke, he reached into his storage ring and pulled out a bottle of pale yellow liquid, tossing it to Han. Han thanked old Li, then quickly put the Ronin spirit tool and the liquid into his system space. However, in old Li's eyes, It looked like Han was putting the items into the white snake bone ring on his finger. He couldn't help but mutter, "That storage ring of yours has a pretty unique design." Han gave a sheepish grin and didn't explain. Instead, he asked, "Mr. Lee, what are you doing here at West Mountain Camp?" "A home visit, a home visit." "Whose home are you visiting?" "Yours." Han was stunned. "Mr. Lee, you're not joking, are you?" "What's there to visit at my house?" "It's getting late. You should just go home." Han's family background was among the poorest of the students at No. 3 Middle School. No matter how tough he usually acted, he didn't want his teacher or classmates to see his destitute living conditions. But Old Lee ignored him, simply saying, "Lead the way." "Where's your mother?" "My mom is sick. She's sleeping. What about your dad?" Han didn't answer. Instead, he turned to look at the ancestral tablet in the corner of the living room. Old Lee followed his gaze and realized a memorial tablet was standing there. The air grew stagnant, and both men fell into a mutual silence. Old Lee's mind was in a mess. He vaguely remembered shouting at Han earlier this morning, "Are you worthy of your parents?" To Han, such ordinary words were like knives trampling on his dignity. He finally understood why Han had volunteered to fight under those circumstances. Before, he pitied Han's misfortune and was angry at his lack of ambition. But Han's performance tonight far exceeded his expectations. How much effort must a boy from such a poor family have to put in just to scrape together enough money for a single spirit tool refinement? Guilt flooded his heart. Just then, the master bedroom door opened, and a pale-faced woman walked out. "Who is this?" Han quickly stood up to help Su Liuxing to the sofa. "Mom, this is Mr. Lee, my combat instructor. He's here for a home visit." Su Liuxing squeezed out a smile. "Hello, Mr. Lee. It's so late, and you're still doing home visits. Did Han do something wrong at school? If he made a mistake, please feel free to scold him, okay? I won't mind." Hearing this, Old Lee's sense of guilt deepened. He quickly explained to Su Liuxing, No. You've misunderstood. Han is performing exceptionally well at school. This is just a routine home visit." Han was full of confusion. When did Old Lee change his personality? Not only was he not scolding anyone, he was even putting in a good word for me. However, Su Liuxing assumed Old Lee was just saving face for Han. "Han, go back to your room first. I want to talk to your teacher privately." Han understood his mother's intent. He nodded and returned to his room. He quietly pressed his ear against the door, wanting to hear what Old Lee would say to his mother. But after a moment, he became even more confused. What was wrong with Old Lee tonight? He was just talking about nonsense. Han could clearly hear that most of Old Lee's questions were just casual small talk, with no hint of complaining about him. After thinking for a while and failing to find an answer, he simply stopped dwelling on it. With a thought, the system panel appeared before him. Spirit Tool 1000 Blades. Quality, D Effect 1, Cold Flash. Effect 2, Myriad Transformations. Stunning 93% Synchronization. 62, Refinements. 2. It looked like 1000 Blades was about to level up again. But this time, it seemed to require much more experience than the first two times. Han switched to the system space. Inside, besides the 18 sword heroes floating around, the Ronin Spirit Tool was also there. But he noticed the Ronin seemed to be shivering. Spirit Tool No. 1. Strongly protests the host's action of placing the Ronin in this space. Spirit Tool No. 18 believes the Ronin's grade is too low, and he is unworthy of staying with them. Spirit Tool No. 3 is somewhat curious about the Ronin. After a glance, it felt that the host had very poor taste. Han muttered, "They seem to really look down on the Ronin." The next moment, the Ronin appeared in his hand. Han could sense that the Ronin seemed relieved to have escaped that space. "System, what's going on?" There is a hierarchy among spirit tools. Among the 18 spirit tools, the Ronin felt an endless, overwhelming pressure. It was shivering out of fear. Zhao muttered to himself. Hierarchy difference. It seems the status of these 18 weapon spirits is truly extraordinary. I wonder how they see Qian Ren. With a thought, Qian Ren appeared in his hand. Zhao immediately tossed it into the system space. In just an instant, Zhao could clearly sense. It felt like 18 gazes were studying Qian Ren. Among those gazes were curiosity. There was confusion and surprise, yet none of them showed disdain towards the Ronin. Meanwhile, Zhao also sensed a calm and unwavering attitude from Qian Ren, as if he didn't even care about the 18 weapon spirits. Qian Ren and Ronin are both D-rank weapon spirits, but their attitudes are completely different. Zhao tried to find the answer from the system, yet the system seemed to freeze up. No response at all. He sighed. Oh well, maybe he'll know the answer someday. He cast his gaze at the Ronin in his hand again. He planned to contract another weapon spirit. Although Ronin isn't as good as his other spirits, as long as the contract succeeds, Zhao could pretend to be from the weapon spirit region and claim an extra share. To subsidize Zhao he infused spirit power into Ronin, carefully sensing Ronin's state. Ronin is still weak, but there are no signs of fading away. What's going on here? He hasn't used the spirit nurturing potion old Li gave him yet. It's still safely stored in the system space. Within the system space, announed weapon spirits will remain in their original state. Zhao suddenly fell into deep thought. Ordinary weapon spirits need their host's spirit power to persist. Only the unusual spirits like his father can absorb spirit power on their own. Spirit energy exists between heaven and earth. Ordinary weapon spirits, once deprived of nurturing, as they gradually fade, their compatibility with the original host decreases. When compatibility drops to a certain level, if anyone tries to contract them, the chance of success increases, but the risk of fading grows. However, simply storing them in system space, not only their compatibility with the original host keeps decreasing, but the fading risk is avoided while it decreases, which secretly boosts the likelihood of a successful contract. In this way, as long as Zhao wants to, he could even contract countless weapon spirits. Even if he doesn't want to contract them, he could also use this method to wear down the spirits' compatibility with their original masters and sell the weapon spirits, making a huge profit. Thinking of this, Zhao felt his heart surging with excitement. System start contract process. Following the system's instructions, Zhao began injecting spirit power into the Ronin. Spirit power, guided by the system, started flowing along a specific path. Suddenly, Zhao felt the spirit power he just injected was strongly repelled. The mechanical system voice sounded. Weapon spirit Ronin has too high compatibility with its former master. Suggest waiting until compatibility decreases before contracting. Or smelt it. It actually failed, but the Ronin began emitting a blade cry. Seemed angry at Zhao offense. Zhao could even feel his disdain. Not just disdain for himself, but a contempt toward all beast tamers in Daxia. Zhao muttered, really doesn't know what's good for him. System, melt him down and feed Qianren. Executing smelting, selecting Qianren as the target. Please wait a moment. A surge of overwhelming spiritual energy poured out from Zhao palm, covering the drifter's blade. The drifter gave off wailing like blade cries, but Zhao was unmoved. Within this boundless spiritual power, the drifter gradually turned into a pure soul form. In the end, drawn in by the spiritual energy and infused into Qianren. Smelting successful, spirit Qianren gained 872 experience. Advancing together, host's experience increased by 872. Experience is sufficient. Do you want to temper the spirit? Does the host want to advance? Able to advance again, Zhao chose without hesitation. A subtle yet immense force bounced out from within Zhao, flowed through his hands and into Qianren. Qianren glowed with a cold light all over. Zhao could feel every bit of spiritual energy that entered it turned into pure killing intent. Fragments appeared one after another on the blade, as if they had condensed into something solid from killing intent. A strand of blood red gradually formed in the cold glow. Tempering succeeded. D-tier spirit Qianren successfully advanced to C-tier spirit. Bond increased by 10. Spirit Qianren awakened effect 3. Wind shatter. Blade transformed into countless fragments. dealing a sweeping blow to the opponent. Qi Ling Qianren just finished tempering. Zhao Han was immediately enveloped by a familiar mystical sensation. The surging spiritual energy constantly refined his body. Zhao Han seemed to hear the sound of something shattering inside him. Host level rose from stage 1, 2-star to stage 1, 5-star. Physical strength greatly increased, while Zhao Han was immersed in becoming stronger. In the living room, Old Li and Zhao Han's mother continued their conversation and got to the main topic. I wonder what plans you have for Zhao Han's future. I know Zhao Han's spirit isn't anything special, so I don't place any expectations on him. I just hope that after graduation he can stay in Kaiyun City. Old Li nodded at her words. The guilt in his heart toward Zhao Han made him think about how to make it up to Zhao Han. If there's a better path for Zhao Han, would you object? Su Liuxing was a little stunned. A better path? Mr. Li, do you mean? Old Li straightened up. Joined the demon suppression army. Unhappiness flashed across Su Liuxing's face, but she quickly covered it up. Mr. Li, are you joking? I remember the demon suppression army's minimum requirements. The contracted spirit must be at least D tier, and you must reach stage 2 3-star at age 18. How could my Zhao Han have that kind of ability? Old Li smiled awkwardly. Normally that's true, but what you don't know is, I retired from the demon suppression army 15 years ago. The unit has a quota. Any retired member can recommend a young person to join the army, and the assessment is easier than regular recruitment. These 15 years, I've kept my quota unused. Old Li met Su Liuxing's weary gaze. This year I plan to give this quota to Zhao Han. Su Liuxing forced a smile. Mr. Li, please stop joking. My Zhao Han's talent is so limited. If he really joins the demon suppression army, he'd just hold others back. You should give your quota to someone else. He may be smiling, but it's clearly a forced smile. Old Li was confused. He just thought Su Liuxing assumed he was joking. So he repeated himself, Miss Su. I'm not joking. Although the demon suppression army's benefits aren't as good as top mercenary groups like Night Market, it's still definitely the most suitable path for Zhao Han. You must... Before he could finish, Su Liuxing, always humble and polite, suddenly shouted, Enough, Mr. Li. I said Zhao Han isn't suitable, and that's final. Don't bring it up again. This sudden change made Old Li involuntarily swallow hard.
He wasn't even sure what he'd said wrong.
Old Li cast a cautious glance at Su Liuxing. Only then did he notice that tears were welling up in her eyes. After a long while, Su Liuxing finally spoke again. In the past, Zhao Han's father was also in the demon suppression army. At this moment, Old Li finally understood why Su Liuxing had lost control of her emotions. He wanted to say something, but everything he wanted to say couldn't come out at all. Su Liuxing wiped the tears from the corner of her eyes. Forced another smile, Mr. Li. It's getting late, you know. Before Su Liuxing could finish, Old Li was already standing up. He replied apologetically, sorry. Didn't notice the time. I should be going too. About what we said tonight. Please try not to take it to heart. Not long after Old Li left, Zhao Han came out of his room. When he saw only his mother, and sat rather helplessly on the sofa, he asked, Mom, what's wrong? Su Liuxing looked at Zhao Han, and the gloom in her eyes instantly became gentleness. She smiled. Mom is fine. Just a little hungry. Can you cook me some noodles? Zhao Han nodded. Okay. In the night, Old Li walked alone toward the outskirts of the village, muttering to himself, I really deserve a slap. Especially when he remembered what he had said to Zhao Han. He wished he could slap himself. Suddenly, he thought of something, quickly pulled out his phone, dialed a number. A moment later, a gentle voice came from the other end. Old Li. Why are you calling me? Miss Lan Fang, you really got me in trouble. Under the dim streetlights, Old Li was talking on the phone with Non Feng Shu. So you're saying you don't know who Zhao Han's father was in the demon suppression army either? But one of your missions is to secretly look after their mother and son. Yeah. Zhao Han's father had such a high status in the demon suppression army. Even my clearance level isn't high enough to find out. Do you know how his father died? I do. The official report only says he went missing in the line of duty. But it's obvious. That upper management is hiding something. Old Li sighed. Nan Fanshu laughed. What's wrong? Feeling guilty? Old Li didn't deny it, and he told Nan Fangshu everything he'd learned tonight, in full detail. After a while, Nan Fangshu muttered, so the spirit advanced. Seems like his strength improved too. No wonder when I saw him running this morning. Something felt off. Miss Nan Fang, I want to do something for Zhao Han, but his mom won't let him enlist. Can you give me some advice? Nan Fangshu thought for a moment, then smiled. Sure, I can give you advice, but how are you going to thank me? This year's Covert Squad investigation report from the Demon Suppression Army. I'll give you a perfect score. It seems Nanfang Zuan is very satisfied with this answer. He laughed, saying that little Han has a strong sense of pride. So if you want to help him, you can't do it openly. And then what? You must have seen it tonight as well. Little Han's mom has a strange illness. It's a real money burner. So his family is pretty short on cash. But according to the rules, a spirit master can't join a mercenary team until they've received their graduation certificate. And in our school, you're one of the few teachers allowed to take students out on mercenary assignments for training. Old Li suddenly understood. Back in the day, to earn more money to cultivate his artifact spirit, he got certified to train mercenaries. He never thought that certification would be so useful today. He thanked Nan Fangzhu repeatedly. After hanging up the phone, he felt as if the weight in his heart had been lifted. Early on the first, little Han was awakened by a call from Old Li. Even though his body resisted, under Old Li's intimidating authority, he still dragged his sleepy self to school to wait for Old Li. Little Han, you're up pretty early today. Old Li patted little Han on the shoulder, handing him a bag of breakfast. I've got something for you to help me with today. Need your assistance. Normally, Old Li keeps a straight face, but right now, he actually squeezed out what he thought was a friendly smile. But that smile really creeped little Han out. Nervously, little Han took the breakfast, but didn't dare eat it. From last night until now, he had felt that Old Li was acting strange. But he didn't know why. Teacher, what do you need help with? Old Li put his hand on little Han's shoulder, eating breakfast while grinning. It's nothing much. It's just that I'm a little short on cash lately. So took on a few mercenary gigs, and I could use an extra hand. Can you lend your teacher a hand? Worried little Han might refuse. He quickly added, Don't worry, I won't take on any missions that are too dangerous. While we're out, your safety is my responsibility. We'll split the commission 50-50. Little Han looked at Old Li suspiciously. His eyes were full of sincerity. It really seemed like he just needed a helper. Thinking about his mother's endless medical bills, debating it over and over, little Han finally nodded. All right. But Mr. Li, when do we head out? In that moment, it felt like Old Li found salvation. The weight in his heart was finally lifted a little. Soon the two arrived at a ruin. Old Li smiled and asked, Little Han, do you know where we are? Little Han shook his head. Old Li said with a smile, Dong County. This used to be a pretty large county town. Decades ago, a beast tide destroyed this place. You need to be careful here. Most of the beasts you'll encounter here are Tier 2. Old Li led little Han down the main road of the county. Along the way, little Han realized what true professionalism in soldiers looked like. See that, little Han? That seemingly random, messy path is actually the trail of Tier 2 demon beasts called Gale Wolves. They're really cunning. Moving forward, at the same time it sweeps away its tracks with its tail. This is something we should learn from. If you want to avoid being tracked, remember to erase your tracks at all times. Of course, it's not hard to figure out which way they went. It's nothing but observing, listening, questioning, and checking. Observing means searching for traces around you. As for listening, whenever a creature passes through, it always leaves a scent. Zhaohan, also over there. There are some feathers here, but if you look closely, you'll notice. They seem to be split into 3 clusters. Generally speaking, females are duller in color. Males are more vibrant. Demon beasts behave much like animals. It's called courtship display. From this, it's not hard to tell. These are 2 male bird-type demon beasts. fighting over mating rights, breaking out into a massive fight. One of them was seriously injured and fled in a panic. Zhao, look, it's obvious there was a fight here, judging by the marks left on these walls. There were probably two groups involved. Based on the remaining footprints, one side had about 5 people. The other side had 3. We don't know the reason for the fight, but it's likely greed for wealth, or lust, or just general conflict. So Zhao, remember this. If you become a mercenary in the future, never trust anyone but yourself, especially in the ruins outside the shelter city, while searching for supplies. Old Li may be called a teacher, but he's more like a caring elder to Zhao
He keeps teaching Zhao Han all kinds of survival skills.
and methods to track demon beasts in the ruins. He even shares his social experiences without holding anything back. Although Zhao has some doubts, he absorbs knowledge like a sponge, taking in everything he can. Suddenly, Old Li stopped in front of a pile of rubble. In the silent ruins, the faint sound of a cat's meow approaches from far to near. Looks like we found those guys. He gave Zhao a look, signaling him to stay quiet. The two people tiptoed up the pile of rocks forming a small hill, crawling forward to look into the distance. About 10 meters ahead, there's a 2-story building, half collapsed. Next to it, 4 or 5 second-tier demon beasts are playing. Old Li muttered, looks like it's a medium-sized herd of camel bulls. Plus the ones inside, there should be about 17 or 18. Zhao, can you handle it? Zhao didn't say anything. He simply gave the herd a cold glance. Old Li saw his expression and immediately smiled, saying that camel bulls are very fierce. What you have to watch out for is their stampede. If you don't run quickly enough, weaker summoners might pass out for a while. But that's also their weakness. As long as we're quick enough and leave their attack range before they stampede or take them out, we'll be fine. So don't be nervous. Zhao replied without looking up. Teacher, I'm not nervous. Then what are you thinking about? I'm wondering if camel bull milk stewed with potatoes would taste better than regular beef. Old Li was speechless for a moment. Zhao suddenly asked, Teacher, what do you need me to do? It's simple, just like last night. Zhao looked a bit confused. Old Li explained, I'll go in front and attract the demon beasts. You sneak over quietly and give them a hit. Zhao nodded.
He didn't object to this plan.
After all, stealth attacks are his specialty. He's best at ambush, relying on his stealth. And this is a great chance to level up Qianren. The two exchanged a glance, and then each took action. Old Li swaggered out, right into the herd's line of sight. His sudden appearance put the herd on alert. They started stomping the ground wildly, and kept snorting, trying to warn off Old Li, who suddenly showed up. But Old Li acted like he didn't notice, and kept moving toward them, unconcerned. The herd started gathering up. Even those hiding inside the building came out to join the group. As Old Li got closer, he suddenly dashed forward and swung his disciplinary ruler down hard, muttering, "A gentleman without gravity commands no respect." In an instant, the biggest camel bull was knocked flying by Old Li's ruler. The herd charged at Old Li all at once, and Old Li turned and ran, but he didn't run very fast, as if intentionally leading the herd along. Whenever a camel bull got close, he'd say, "A man stands firm at 30, never confused at 40, knows fate at 50. Every time he chanted. Another camel bull got into trouble. The camel bulls tried to knock him out, but being sly, he'd just dodged to another spot, so their stampede missed again. Zhao looked confused at Old Li. Those lines, why do they sound a bit off to me? Gotta ask him about them later. Zhao, the brush master, moved like a ghost, showing up behind the camel bulls. Weapon Spirit Qianren, killed second-tier camel bull, experience plus 175. Joint progress, host experience 175. Moments later, at the camel bull gathering spot, the corpses of camel bulls were scattered everywhere. Old Li was left panting and exhausted. He spat in secret, cursing to himself, damn it. Being a good teacher is really exhausting. But as Zhao walked over, he forced a friendly smile again. So, Zhao, are you getting used to this? Zhao looked at him and handed him the water he had prepared, saying, "I'm doing fine. Thanks for your hard work, teacher." Old Li heard this and couldn't help but let out a hearty laugh, as if all his efforts were worth it. "It's nothing. It's nothing. That's what being your teacher is about. Xiaohan then asked, Teacher, what did all those things you were chanting mean just now? Old Li was stunned for a second, then laughed and said, I found an ancient book online. I think it was called the Analects. So I memorized it. Pretty interesting stuff. Then I renamed my skill effects. Like the one I said just now, a gentleman without gravity commands no respect. It means you have to hit hard to gain respect as a gentleman. Otherwise, people won't take you seriously. That matches my weapon spirit's power boost effect. A man stands firm at 30 means I need to face at least 30 people to stand and fight. That effect doubles my damage. Never confused at 40 means when I'm up against 40 people, I won't get confused. That's the next stage after standing firm at 30. Knows fate at 50 means if I take down 50 people, only then will they know I'm the chosen one. That's also the standing firm at 30 level. Xiaohan listened to the explanation in shock. Though he felt something was off, he memorized it anyway. Figured it might come in handy for a future fight. It's just like playing landlord. Whenever you shout airplane or bomb, you get an extra buff. It feels like you get a special power-up. Xiaohan listened as old Li talked on and on, while at the same time scanning the ostriches one by one. Gradually, he began to notice something was off. Teacher, isn't this flock of ostriches missing a leader? Old Li froze for a moment, then quickly looked over the fallen ostriches. His gaze became increasingly serious. There really is no leader. The two of them simultaneously looked at the two-story building ahead. They both saw a hint of seriousness in each other's eyes. Suddenly, a series of stomping sounds came from inside the building. The ostriches that had originally fallen over actually started getting back up one by one. Their eyes were empty and lifeless, and with the stomping inside, they began to stomp their feet non-stop. The stomping grew louder and louder in waves. The surrounding hills made up of rubble began to collapse bit by bit. The deafening stomping noises shook Xiaohan and old Li to the core. The ostriches that stood back up began approaching the two of them step by step, but right now they were moving extremely slowly. Xiaohan tried to knock them down again, but no matter how many ostrich bulls he knocked down, in his mind, the system sound never rang out again. It was as if they had just become puppeted corpses. Old Li's pupils suddenly contracted, and he shouted to stop. Xiaohan, who was still fighting the revived ostrich bulls. Xiaohan, that's nearly a tier 4 ostrich bull leader. It's already awakened its domain. Forget about these dead ostrich bulls. We have to find it right away. Otherwise, we're both going to die here. When Xiaohan heard this, his heart skipped a beat. He knew about domains. It's a unique ability that only spirit weapons and spirit beasts have. Spirit weapons above Class B, as well as spirit beasts above Tier 4, all have a chance to awaken their domain. A domain can greatly amplify someone's power. Battles between high-level spirit tamers are often really battles between domains. Apparently, the ostrich leader had discovered them from the very beginning. The reason it never appeared was clearly because it hadn't reached Tier 4 yet. Preparing its domain was time-consuming. The two of them rushed decisively into the two-story building. Due to the cramped quarters inside, the stomping was even more piercing. Countless stomping noises formed a unique wall of echoes in the empty rooms, echoing off the vacant walls. The booming made their hearts feel like they were about to leap out of their chests. Old Li roared, and Xiaohan manifested his spirit weapon. The next moment, behind old Li, the figure of a scholar hovered in midair, and two strong hands tightly covered his ears. But Xiaohan was half a beat slower, and instantly fell into a dazed, confused state. But the danger wasn't over yet. 7 or 8 beast monsters with bull heads and human bodies appeared in an instant. They were Tier 3 leader guards, and they pounced at Xiaohan and old Li from all directions. The two of them were in dire straits. Seeing this, old Li couldn't bother dealing with the leader guards in front of him alone, and immediately threw himself toward Xiaohan. Xiaohan, damn it, don't pass out now. Old Li shielded Xiaohan behind him as he moved forward. While the leader guard launched a fierce and relentless attack, struggling to hold on. At that moment, Zhao Han had no idea what was happening. It was as if he was in a world of endless white, as if he was about to drown in that infinite sea of whiteness at any second. Suddenly, Qian Ren appeared before his eyes. The usual calmness on Qian Ren's face was now replaced by genuine concern,
He kept swimming back and forth in front of Zhao Han.
seemingly trying everything to wake him up. Finally, a spark of life returned to Zhao Han's eyes. In just an instant, a cool sensation surged from Zhao Han's heart, spreading throughout his body. The stomping sounds echoing in his ears were instantly shut out by Zhao Han. Zhao Han finally woke up. He muttered silently, apparently. It was Qian Ren and the new ability that saved me. And in front of him, old Li was still single-handedly fending off the beast attack.
He gritted his teeth and said, Zhao Han,
Would you please wake up already? If you don't snap out of it, we're both going to die here. Zhao Han walked up to old Li's side, fighting alongside him. Teacher, thank you for what you just did. Now it's our turn to take back some interest. Old Li was stunned for a moment, then quickly nodded, a powerful, unstoppable aura erupting from him. He had held back before, so he had no choice but to take the hits.
No.
He wanted to make these cocky guys pay the price. He was like a speeding freight truck, waving the ruler in his hand endlessly, soloing 2 leader guards at the same time. His moves were extremely simple, slashing horizontally and vertically. But just these 2 simple techniques were enough to leave both leader guards in complete disarray. He suddenly leapt into the air, the ruler in his hand like a 3-foot-long blade, slicing across their heads. When the 2 halves of their heads hit the ground, he landed as well, the ruler in his hand dripping with fresh blood. This was a sequence of moves he came up with. After a brief moment of thought, he firmly believed this move alone would fascinate any young man Zhao Han's age. He wanted to use this flashy move to take his relationship with Zhao Han to the next level. He looked confidently in Zhao Han's direction, only to be dumbfounded in the next instant. Inside the dimly lit building, Zhao Han's figure flickered in and out of sight, moving alone. Among the remaining 6 beasts, his long sword swinging again and again, dealing constant damage to them. The beast tried to fight back, but could only grab Zhao Han's afterimages. Zhao Han's nimble steps suddenly stopped right in the middle, as Qian Ren split into countless shattered stars, unleashing a ferocious assault, indiscriminately attacking all 6 beasts. They tried to block it, but the barrage of shattered stars came at them again in a second wave. In an instant, on the bodies of every leader guard, not a single patch of intact skin could be found. Blood kept flowing from their wounds, and their life force rapidly faded. Spirit Blade Qian Ren killed the Tier 3 beast, Camelox Guard, EXP-245. Mutual progress urges the host, EXP-245. Moments later, all the Camelox guards in the building were lying dead in pools of blood. Old Li stared blankly at this scene. Is this really something a grade D spirit weapon can awaken? In his heart, a new desire suddenly burned to recruit Zhao Han into the Demon Suppression Corps. Such a powerful spirit weapon. No matter how low the starting point, it's worth nurturing. Bang! Suddenly a loud sound came from outside the building, as if something just jumped down from the 2nd floor. Old Li instantly realized what was happening. Crap! The Camel Ox leader is trying to run. As soon as he finished speaking, he spun around and gave chase outside. But Zhao Han was even faster than him. Damn it, Zhao Han, don't be reckless. That's a beast on the verge of reaching Tier 4. Before he could finish, Zhao Han's figure had already vanished. Old Li's heart burned with anxiety. But he wasn't mad at Zhao Han for being rash. He just hated that when he was protecting Zhao Han earlier, he burned too much spiritual power, making it impossible to keep up now. Outside the building, Zhao Han saw a humanoid minotaur leaning on. A bloated Camelox leader was running for his life. His figure was much smaller than earlier camels, but his pupils burned with intense hatred. His face was pale, showing clear signs of severe internal injury. The hurried sound of footsteps came from behind him, making him even more frantic. Whoosh! The sound of something slicing through the air came from behind. The camel ox leader quickly turned and raised his bone staff to defend. When the long sword struck the bone staff, a few shards of bone flew off. A flicker of surprise flashed in Zhao Han's eyes. He hadn't expected the camel ox leader's bone staff to be so sturdy. But the camel ox leader was even more shocked than he was, because Zhao Han vanished right before his very eyes. Theft! The long sword stabbed into his back, piercing straight through his heart. His life force drained away quickly. With the last of his strength, he looked back, seeing the face of a determined youthful boy. A look of intense regret flashed in his eyes. He was just about to break through to Tier 4, so why did he fail at the very last step? All because he met this killer. Thud! His bone staff dropped to the ground, and he collapsed to his knees powerless. Blood gushed out from his chest, staining the cracked concrete crimson. Spirit Blade Qian Ren killed Tier 3 Beast. Camel Ox Leader, EXP 595. Mutual Progress. Urges the host. EXP plus 595. Sufficient experience gained. Proceed with Spirit Weapon Refinement. Sufficient experience gained. Should the host choose to advance? Time to level up again. But Zhao Han didn't make any selection. After all, Old Li was about to come out. Then Old Li's voice called out, Zhao Han, "Be careful, you hear me?" His voice faded away, until it couldn't be heard at all. At this moment, Old Li's eyes were full of disbelief. A beast about to reach Tier 4 was killed so easily by Zhao Han. Old Li looked at Zhao Han, then at the camel ox in the pool of blood, his eyes shifting back and forth between them. He was just short of saying, "I can't believe it," out loud. Zhao Han chuckled. "Teacher, you don't doubt me, do you? After all, it's just the two of us here. And besides, this ox leader didn't seem nearly as strong as you said. Not that tough." Old Li wanted to argue back, because every beast capable of manifesting a domain is far beyond what an ordinary spirit tamer can handle. But as the words were about to come out, he wasn't sure what to say. After all, the camel ox leader really did die at Zhao Han's hands. But seeing Zhao Han's indifferent attitude, he worried that Zhao Han would suffer greatly someday from being overconfident. His mind raced, memories and knowledge from his entire life flashing through his head. A report he once read surfaced in his mind. He finally found the answer. He snorted coldly, putting on that stern face again. "Not that impressive. Zhao Han, do you know why you were able to kill him?" "That's because he was just a beast about to advance to Tier 4. He was just beginning to grasp his domain, but hadn't fully mastered it. He forced himself to use a domain ability that only Tier 4 beasts can control, and suffered backlash because of it. That's the only reason you got lucky. Don't try to act tough again. When the sky falls, let someone taller hold it up. Understand?" Zhao Han nodded. He wasn't angry. From Lao Li's harsh tone, he could sense a hint of care. "I understand. Teacher Li, it won't happen again." Seeing Zhao Han's attitude, Lao Li nodded. His admiration for him grew even more. Admitting mistakes and correcting them, having the courage to face your errors, his character is far beyond his peers. "Teacher, what's going on here?" Zhao Han suddenly pointed to the side and asked. Lao Li followed Zhao Han's finger. A smile instantly appeared on his face. They saw under the yak leader, where blood once covered the ground. All the blood was now frantically flowing into its bone club. The yak leader's body was gradually shriveling up. The deathly pale bone club was slowly turning dark red. The gash Zhao Han had slashed open was also slowly repairing itself. When the bone club was so dark red it looked like it would drip blood, the crimson color suddenly faded quickly. A moment later, the bone club returned to its original pale appearance. Lao Li walked forward and picked it up. He was beaming. "Kid, you're really lucky. This is a spirit embryo. Out of 3,000 monsters, you might not even find one." Spirit embryo. Zhao Han was a bit stunned.
A spirit embryo is a special kind of monster material.
It absorbs the essence blood of the beast, carrying its will. Through special refining methods, the spirit embryo can be made into a spirit item. Unlike items like wandering spirits, which have lost their hosts. After being refined, the spirit embryo as a spirit item just needs a short bonding period with the new contractor. The contract success rate is basically 100%. After all, it's never formed a bond with a human before. Some ordinary people born without a spirit item, if they happen to obtain a spirit embryo by chance, can definitely become a spirit master. It's one of the fastest ways for an ordinary person to change their fate. For spirit masters with high-level spirit items, if the spirit master has room for another spirit, then the spirit embryo can become their new spirit item. If there's no room for more spirits in Yulin City, then the spirit embryo can also become one of the best materials for tempering their spirit items. That's exactly why spirit embryos are extremely valuable on the market. Lao Li gritted his teeth, as if making an important decision. What are you just standing there for? Hurry up and put it away. When you refine it into a spirit item, at the very least it'll be a D-level spirit. Jahan was a bit surprised. Lao Li's meaning couldn't be more obvious.
He was going to give the spirit embryo to him on purpose.
Just now, the look of happiness on old Li's face. He definitely saw it for himself. Mr. Li, are you really willing? Old Li curled his lips. Does it matter if I'm willing or not? This spiritual embryo was obtained when you killed the Camelox leader. What does it have to do with me? Jahan didn't respond either way. Then grinned and said, if that's the case, Mr. Li, maybe you could give me some money, and I'll sell it to you. A hint of excitement flashed in old Li's eyes, but he quickly suppressed it. Years of failed spirit refining had given him an instinct. Sea level is already the limit for his spirit artifact. There's no point wasting more effort on it. So instead, it would be better to give this opportunity to get stronger, to someone younger with potential. Upon realizing this, he gave Jahan a heavy knock. Sell what? Don't keep thinking about money all day. Getting stronger is way more important than money. Just keep this spiritual embryo. What if you're suited for spirit artifact cultivation? Even if you aren't, this spiritual embryo can still refine your artifact spirit. Maybe someday your artifact could advance to sea level. Jahan didn't refuse again. Because in old Li's eyes, Jahan saw some reluctance and a hint of determination. He caught a teacher's attitude in that look. Their duty is to guide and nurture. Old Li has always been this way. Even though he's stricter than the other teachers, he truly wants to see every student grow into a success. Once Jahan thanked him, he put the embryo into his system's storage space. To be honest, he didn't care much about this embryo, especially after seeing how those 18 artifact spirits treated the drifter. Jahan realized, in this world, few artifact spirits could compare to those 18. But he needed an excuse, a reason to let his artifact spirit advance. When old Li saw he accepted it, a smile appeared on his face. Jahan pointed at the cameloxen strewn about and asked, Teacher, since we've completed the task, should we send the coordinates to the client? Old Li's expression turned dark the moment he heard that. He instantly looked furious. Damn it, you just had to bring that up. That really pisses me off. One nearly 4th tier monster beast, and 8 tier 3 leaders as guards, and they still labeled it as a first-class mission. Jahan frowned. Teacher, you mean this wasn't really a level 1 task? Old Li cursed. Of course it wasn't. A job this hard should be at least D level, maybe even barely C level. Jahan immediately felt they'd been set up. So what do we do now, teacher? Old Li snorted coldly. What do we do? For a job this tough, if they want their stuff back, they'll have to pay more. For the first time, Jahan saw an entirely different side of old Li. He was like a battle-hardened veteran, slamming his ruler into the ground, arguing with the client until his face turned red. He looked like he'd fight to the death if they didn't pay up. In the end, the client had no choice but to raise the price to 500,000. Only then did they get their goods back from the second-floor building. After the client left, old Li was as happy as a kid. He showed Jahan his phone's payment screen. See this, Jahan? 500,000, count the zeros. That's 5 zeros. Hurry, give me your account details. I'll transfer half to you. Soon, the payment confirmation arrived. From 200,000 to 500,000. Xiaohan couldn't help but marvel. Teacher, you're incredible. I'm not the incredible one. I almost had to fight them for it. But in the end, they still backed down, didn't they? Old Li shook his head. They weren't backing down from me. They were backing down from the demon suppression corps. After Old Li explained, Xiaohan finally understood. The demon suppression corps isn't like other big organizations. Every retired soldier, if they run into trouble in life and can't handle it themselves, can always ask the corps for help. Up against the corps, these crooked businessmen have to give in. Old Li grinned and asked, if Xiaohan was interested in joining the demon suppression corps, I'll write you a recommendation, he offered. Xiaohan shook his head. No way, why not? The benefits are way better than smaller groups. And in this field, connections matter. My mom won't let me. Old Li was at a loss for words. He suddenly recalled that night, the way Su Liuxing totally lost control. He could understand her worries. But in his view, with Zhao Han's strength, joining the demon suppression corps would be his best future. Zhao Han continued, the demon suppression corps is way too dangerous. I want to live a few more years. Old Li sighed. Compared to other mercenary groups, the corps always takes on the riskiest missions, for less reward. Sometimes there's no reward at all. He didn't say anything more, just patted Zhao Han on the shoulder and walked on. Let's go to the next mission. With the roar of the motorcycle engine, beneath the blood-red setting sun, Zhao Han and Old Li rode off to their next destination. Meanwhile, at No. 1 Mountain Sea Community, East City, Kaiyun City, the most prestigious neighborhood in Kaiyun City. Unlike the rundown west side, here, everything reflects nobility and elegance. A black Rolls-Royce Phantom pulled up in the distance. Stopping by a lavishly decorated villa, Shen Yue stepped out of the car, bowing respectfully to the one inside. Thank you, Captain Long. The man in the car nodded. Train hard with the martial arts I taught you, and you'll awaken your artifact's true effect even sooner. The car drove away slowly. A complex look appeared on Shen Yue's face. She slowly opened the villa door and walked straight to the living room. On the sofa in the living room sat a middle-aged man smoking a cigar, reading a newspaper. After thinking it through, she finally spoke.
Dad.
Inugami Ichiro is dead. The man on the sofa was none other than Shen Yue's father, Shen Yuanming, president of the Kaiyun City Chamber of Commerce. Upon hearing this, Shen Yuanming put down the newspaper and exhaled a long stream of smoke. What did Captain Long say? Captain Long said, if he's dead, then he's dead. No need to worry about him. Just get done what they asked us to do as soon as possible. Shen Yuanming nodded. Got it. Focus on improving your cultivation for now. He picked up the newspaper again, ready to keep reading. But Shen Yue didn't move. A trace of confusion flashed in Shen Yuanming's eyes. What's wrong, Yue? Shen Yue bit her lip lightly, hesitated for a while, but finally spoke up. Dad, I don't understand. What don't you understand? Is it that you don't understand why you had to give Shahan the tempered water? Or why you had the imperial clan of Wagwo hunt him down? Or you don't understand why you want to get close to the Wudi? Shen Yue shook her head.
Dad.
I don't understand any of it. Shen Yuanming placed his newspaper on the coffee table in front of him. Everything is for Wushuang. Shen Yue widened her eyes. That Wushuang from Zhao Han's family. Shen Yuanming nodded. He lightly patted the empty seat next to him. He gestured for Shen Yue to sit beside him. Yue, do you know who the Wudi is? The sole heir of the family. But do you know anything about him? Shen Yue shook her head. I only know his spirit is an S-class sword spirit. I don't know anything else. It's normal not to know. This is confidential in the night market. I only found out after I got connected to the night market last year. That's when I learned about it. Shen Yue looked at Shen Yuanming in confusion. She quietly waited for an answer. Shen Yuanming affectionately patted her beautiful hair. Don't be fooled by his sword spirit being S-class. But it's actually more like a support type spirit. It can slowly improve the quality of other sword type spirits. It's like a slow refining process. But in terms of sheer fighting power, it might not even be as strong as your rose swordsman. Shen Yui's eyes widened again. She looked at Shen Yuanming in disbelief. He immediately understood why there has never been any news online about the Woody participating in battles. Shen Yuanming continued to explain. So, he desperately needs a powerful sword-type spirit. Shen Yue looked a bit puzzled. But Shen Yuanming cut her off. I know what you want to say. You want to say there are so many sword-type spirits out there. Even with the night market's resources, finding an S-class or even higher spirit to contract with is not impossible. So why focus only on Wushuang? Shen Yue nodded. Shen Yuanming smiled. Wushuang is known as the collection of the most powerful sword-type spirits. It has a trait that very few people know about. No matter what quality it reaches, it's always the strongest sword-type spirit at that grade. Shen Yue gasped. Dad, are you saying, if Wushuang is upgraded to S-class, then it's the strongest S-class sword-type spirit? Exactly, so now you understand why I had you give that bottle of water to Zhao Han, right? Because only if Xiao Han gets seriously hurt, his family will have to sell Wushuang. But even so, if the family wants Wushuang, let them try for it themselves. What does that have to do with us? Why do we have to act as their glove puppets? Shen Yue argued. Shen Yuanming sighed. My silly daughter, don't you get it yet? Why? Were you handpicked as a night market core squad trainee? Why? Would Long Chun, known as the strongest spirit tamer among the 12 core squads, travel all the way here to be your mentor? Shen Yue was stunned. He always thought it was all because his spirit was outstanding enough. Dad, what do you mean? Yue, I admit, your spirit is the best our Shen family has seen in years. But that's only in our family. Looking across the entire building's known spirits, yours can only be considered in the lower middle tier. Shen Yuanming slowly stood up. Daughter, without absolute strength, we can only be someone's glove puppet. And even just for the chance to be a glove puppet, there are still many people fighting for it. If you don't want to be the glove, then work hard to get stronger. Take our Shen family to the same level as the family. Before that, please remember, you are the daughter of the Shen family. No matter what, Shen family's interests must come first. Shen Yue stopped talking. She vaguely felt her father, who had never been angry with her, was genuinely angry this time. I remember Du Chenshen's son. I think his name is Stomachache. He's also your classmate. Right? Shen Yue hesitated for a moment, but still nodded. Zhao Han's mother periodically goes to their family hospital for checkups. I don't need to say anything more, do I? A terrifying thought flashed across Shen Yue's mind. She tried to resist. Dad, Shen Yuanming shot her a glare. I know you have feelings for that boy from the Jiang family. But so what? You're young and don't understand yet. Emotions are the most useless thing in the world. Besides, if you think our Shen family can handle the family's wrath, then you can go against what I say. With that, Shen Yuanming got up and went upstairs. In the living room, only Shen Yue was left, sitting absent-mindedly. Shen Yue's eyes were empty. Her thoughts seemed to freeze. Suddenly, her tears began to fall. Yeah, what can she do anyway? In this small city, Cayenne City, she is the daughter of the Chamber of Commerce president. The Shen family is among the city's elite. But when facing a giant like the group, what can they really do? Her father's words suddenly echoed in her ears. If you don't want to be a white glove, then work hard to improve your abilities. Take our Shen family to the same level as the family. Her tears gradually stopped. A determination never seen before appeared in her eyes. Since the family can use theirs, why can't she use the family? As for Xiao Han, it's just a crush. Compared to family interests, what does that really matter? With that thought, her face once again showed that sweet smile it had before. She took out her phone, dialed a number she's never dialed before. Hello, stomachache. It's me, Shen Yue. In the endless ruins, a huge, second-tier Clearwind Volf with a body glowing green was desperately fleeing ahead. Jahan and Lao Li chased fiercely from left and right behind. Teacher, let's just finish him with one blow. We've been chasing for ages. I'm exhausted. Bullshit. The client wants their pelt completely intact. If you cut it wrong, all tonight's efforts will be wasted. That's 30 grand running wild. Jahan was speechless. He learned something new about Lao Li. Money over life. The Clearwind Volf is the best runner among all second-tier beasts. They had been chasing it at full speed for 2 hours. Even though Jahan's physique was way above his peers, he was struggling at this moment. No, if we keep chasing like this, whether we catch the Clearwind Volf is up in the air, we might exhaust ours before catching it. I need to think of a solution quickly. An idea flashed in his mind. Teacher, are you still up for it? Lao Li froze. The next moment, he started cursing loudly. Brat, who do you think you're looking down on? I'm at least a tier 3 5-star physique 650. I could chase for 2 more hours, piece of cake. Jahan knew he misunderstood, but had no time to explain. Teacher, help me out. Under the night sky, Jahan darted quickly in front of Lao Li. Lao Li gritted his teeth and then scooped him up around the waist. The next moment, Jahan was hurled forward like a cannonball by Lao Li. The Clearwind Volf was still running wild. Jahan was still some distance away. He was about to hit the ground. At that critical moment, Lao Li shouted loudly, as if with the sound. Energy gathered behind Jahan in an instant, and again scooped him up around the waist. A massive force surged from Lao Li's arm. Jahan was hurled forward once again. He landed steadily, but the distance between him and the Clearwind Volf was really too close, just close enough for the Volf to be unable to turn. Jahan tightly gripped Qianren in both hands, staring dead at the rapidly approaching Clearwind Volf. But he never made a move. Lao Li, closely behind, couldn't help but feel his heart in his throat. Is the kid scared stiff? The wild wind Volf let out a roar. A strong stench blasted from its mouth. It raised its front paw, aiming to slam it at Jahan. The gust pushed Jahan's black hair backward. Jahan remained motionless, muttered just 2 words, seems to speak to Qianren in his hand. All changed in an instant. Qianren became thinner and longer. Before the Clearwind Volf's claw came down, its vision flooded Jahan's brain. Its paw finally landed above Jahan's head, less than 2 centimeters away. It stopped. Bang! Clearwind Volf's body crashed to the ground. A cloud of dust rose. Qianren's weapon spirit slaughtered the second-tier beast, Clearwind Volf. Experience plus 178. Mutual growth accelerates the host. Experience plus 178. The host's frantic action drew the attention of 18 weapon spirits. They're all now interested in you. Lao Li's racing footsteps slowly stopped. After the smoke faded, the silhouette appeared.
He did another bold, reckless thing.
But all he felt now was admiration. Such guts, such judgment. He might even rival the best spirit tamers in Monster Suppression Army history. No less outstanding, that's for sure. The dust settled. Jahan collapsed to the ground, gasping for air. Only he knew how much pressure he felt at that moment. A bit too early, the Volf pelt could have ripped. A bit too late, he'd have been badly hurt. Lao Li joked while cutting the Volf pelt. Brat, you're actually a born fighter, damn it. It's a shame if you don't join the Monster Suppression Army. Jahan simply ignored him. Moments later, Lao Li stood up, looked at Jahan. Next mission. Jahan rolled his eyes. Teacher, within a single day, we've already done 4 missions. Even if I'm made of iron, I should take a break, right? Lao Li shrugged. All right, you rest. I'll do it myself. When it comes time to settle up, don't be jealous if I get an extra 100 or 80,000 than you. With that, he didn't care if Xiao Han got up or not, and headed to his next destination alone. Zhao Han felt helpless, muttered Li the skinflint under his breath, then quickly got up, caught up with Lao Li. Lao Li could hardly hold back his smile. What Zhao Han didn't know was, this high-intensity mission work was actually a test from Lao Li. One of the military entrance standards is endurance and perseverance. Even though Zhao Han kept saying he wasn't joining the monster suppression army, but Lao Li still believed, once the timing is right, he'll change his mind. Time felt like it was on fast forward. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. In the dead of night, old Li kept watch by the campfire. A leg of some unknown demonic beast was roasting over the flames. Under the scorching heat of the fire, golden oil dripped down bit by bit, making a crackling and popping sound. Old Li held a small knife, occasionally slicing into the beast's leg, looking completely satisfied. Zhao Han sat to one side, staring blankly at the flickering campfire, lost in thought. Zhao Han, we've done 18 missions in these 3 days. The total commission is nearly 3 million. Our efficiency is still a bit slow, though. Hearing this, Zhao Han curled his lip. Teacher, you really don't treat me like a human. During these days, Zhao Han had been like a robot. Every day he'd open his eyes and immediately go on missions. He didn't even have time to be by himself. Old Li chuckled. You're making money, aren't you? So what if it's a bit tiring? Money is the foundation for improving your strength. Zhao Han didn't bother to argue with him, and started scrolling through his phone. Soon his gaze was drawn to a news report from 2 days ago. Shock in the ruins outside Cayenne City. A rank 4 demonic beast has appeared. Currently, 3 mercenary squads have been killed. Zhao Han's brow furrowed. He thought back to that day, the moment he lost focus while fighting the Camelot's leader. He felt a bit uneasy. Teacher, with our current strength, if we faced one head-on, could we handle a rank 4 demonic beast? Old Li pulled a handful of seasoning from his pocket and sprinkled it onto the leg of meat. Are you joking? Seriously. Rank 4 demonic beasts are creatures that have mastered domain abilities. Beast types are easier to deal with. Their strength is relatively low. The scary part is encountering the humanoid ones. If we run into one, we'd better run away immediately. Zhao Han handed the phone to Old Li. Old Li glanced at the news and laughed. I saw this news. Based on the route, those ruins are about 100 miles away from us. As long as we don't wander over there, we'll be fine. Seeing how relaxed he was, the weight in Zhao Han's heart was lifted. He slowly stood up and walked toward the thick fog. Teacher, I'm going to the bathroom. That beast's leg. Remember to save some for me. At first, Zhao Han walked casually, until he was sure Old Li was in the thick fog and could no longer see him. Then, he suddenly began to accelerate. He twisted and turned until he reached the 2nd floor of an abandoned hotel. He looked around, and after confirming no one was nearby, he finally sat down against the base of a wall. Finally, some time. Old Li's obsession with doing missions had far exceeded his expectations. With a thought, 1,000 blades appeared in his hand. Then he pulled up the system page. Weapon Soul, 1,000 blades. Quality, see Effect 1, Cold Flash. Effect 2, 1,000 transformations. 10,000 forms. Effect 3, Windbreaker. EXP 131%. Compatibility 72, Refinement Count 3. Sufficient experience. Proceed with Weapon Soul Refinement? Zhao Han chose without hesitation. Yes, a mysterious, foreign energy began to surge wildly into 1,000 blades. 1,000 blades seemed to have received some kind of summons.
He started to buzz.
Resonating with this energy, the single dark red streak on the blade spread out at this moment, climbed over most of the 1,000-edge blade like flames. Successfully refined a Grade C Artifact Spirit. 1,000-edge advanced to Grade B Artifact Spirit. Compatibility increased by 5. Next, Zhao Han pulled up his own status page. Host Zhao Han level, Tier 1, 5 stars. Experience 131%. Abilities improving together. Level up to Star 5. Stealth stab physique 473. Surging spiritual power constantly refines his body. It was as if Zhao Han could hear the sound of something shattering inside him. Host level increased from Tier 1 5 stars to Tier 1 8 stars. Physique greatly enhanced. The mysterious sensation gradually faded away. Zhao Han slowly opened his eyes. On the long blade Thousand Edge, the man wearing a bamboo hat appeared before his eyes again. This time, Zhao Han saw no trace of murderous intent in his gaze. As if all his killing intent had been drawn into himself, other emotions now sparkled in his deep eyes. Only loyalty remained in his gaze. There was even a faint hint of affection, like the care an elder shows a junior. Zhao Han looked at his body, seemingly lifelike as a real person. He unconsciously had a strange illusion. Thousand Edge seemed like a living man. Maybe after a few more refinements, he could communicate with me on his own. Zhao Han rested his chin. Suddenly realized a problem. This refinement didn't trigger any new system effects. What's going on? Effect awakening is random. It's not guaranteed that every refinement will awaken an effect. After hearing this, Zhao Han thought for a moment and understood. Ordinary artifact spirits, having 2 or 3 effects is already impressive. Even most talents only awaken 4 or 5 effects. The majority still rely on combining different weapons to improve combat power. An artifact spirit like his, only at grade B, and already having 3 effects is lucky. After figuring this out, Zhao Han reached into the system space again. The spirit embryo obtained from the buffalo leader appeared in his hand. Spirit embryo detected. Buffalo priest can be refined into a grade D artifact spirit. Does the host choose to contract or refine? Can only be made into a grade D artifact spirit. That's a bit low. With that thought, Zhao Han immediately chose to refine. The next moment, a surge of spiritual power poured out from Zhao Han's palm, splitting in 2, covering both the spirit embryo and artifact spirit. After a few howls, the spirit embryo turned into a puddle of liquid. It was wrapped in spiritual power and fused into Thousand Edge. Within the spiritual power, Thousand Edge was buzzing in excitement at this moment. Refinement successful. Thousand Edge artifact spirit awakened a new effect. Mind disorder confuses the mind. Disturbs thoughts. Attacks when the enemy is unprepared. Awakened another effect. Looks like it's similar to the Buffalo Leader's domain effect. Zhao Han picked up Thousand Edge and examined it closely. Only then did he notice a chilling white bone drill embedded in the handle. Why did the system awaken an effect without advancing this time? Spirit embryos are formed from demon beast essence blood. When fused with artifact spirits, there's a chance to awaken a new star effect. Related to the demon beast characteristics, Zhao Han couldn't help but smile. Grade B already has 4 effects, and he's only Tier 1, 8 stars. How can you not get excited? Just then, a girl's scream pierced through the ruins. Zhao Han crouched alertly at the windowsill, looking toward the direction the sound came from. The heavy fog blocked his vision, but Zhao Han could clearly hear many demon beasts nearby were desperately fleeing from where the sound came from. His curiosity made Zhao Han eager to know what happened in the fog. Zhao Han immediately jumped down from the hotel, followed the path toward the sound. On his way, Zhao Han saw groups of demon beasts frantically fleeing, including several Tier 3 demon beasts. Zhao Han furrowed his brow, silently activated stealth in the fog, moving cautiously. The closer he got, the stronger the unease grew in his heart. He could even faintly hear strange murmurs. Soon, in front of a shopping mall, Zhao Han saw 5 figures escaping in panic. 4 men and 1 woman. Looked like a mercenary team. He couldn't tell what they were running from. Zhao Han hid in the shadows, quietly watched the scene before him. Soon, a group appeared behind the 5. They wore white robes, looked just like ordinary people. The only difference was the hooked tail growing from their backs. In the crowd was a not-so-large sedan chair for the warden. A middle-aged man with a kindly face, wearing a black robe, sat high above. A large cross stood tall behind him, as if it held countless hopes. His followers all looked different: tall, short, fat, thin. Men, women, young and old. But one thing was the same. They had expressionless faces, constantly murmuring words Zhao Han couldn't understand. Even though he couldn't understand, Zhao Han felt an urge to kneel and worship. He quickly activated calm mind. In an instant, the urge in his heart was swept away. At the same time, Zhao Han witnessed a scene that shocked him. Among the fleeing five, two male mercenaries stumbled due to exhaustion. In an instant, the group behind caught up with them. A towering Gothic church emerged instantly, enveloping the whole group and the two lagging members. The church radiated a holy white light. Murmurs within the church intensified, as if the followers were giving their most devoted prayers. Zhao Han's brow furrowed deeply. He seemed to hear beneath those reverent prayers a series of muffled wails and crunching sounds. Yet he had no intention of intervening. Last time, his stomach hurt, and he was set up. That scene still kept replaying in his mind. Artifact spirit, no. 9 is becoming violent. He seemed to recall memories he doesn't want to relive. No, 9's violence caught the attention of other artifact spirits. Some artifact spirits are calming No 9. Some spirits are mocking No 9. Others are just watching. The system is trying to suppress No 9. Host, leave this place immediately. What's happening now is overstimulating No 9. Host, leave. Leave this area. Urgent system alerts kept echoing in Zhao Han's mind. What's going on? Zhao Han's confusion kept growing. He didn't have time to think. Suddenly, a rush of footsteps came from behind. Then a strong grip grabbed his collar and dragged him away. The ruins on both sides swept past his eyes at high speed. Zhao Han originally planned to fight back, but the voice in his ear left him helplessly carried away by someone. Zhao Han, what are you doing here? Do you have any idea how dangerous it was just now? Old Li's silhouette chased over from the side, and the one grabbing Zhao Han by his collar right now was none other than Qiling, the scholar. Zhao Han's body dangled like a kite, swaying in the swift hands of the scholar. He shrugged his shoulders. With a cheeky grin, he said, "Teacher, I didn't think it was that dangerous." Old Li glared at him. Running and cursing, he pointed behind them. "See for yourself." They saw the burst of white light in front of the mall instantly dissipate. The towering church vanished in a split second as well. The group remained the same. They chased toward the 3 remaining individuals. Only 2 cleanly gnawed skeletons remained at the scene. Zhao Han's face turned extremely grim. He swallowed hard and said, "They sure chewed them clean." Old Li snorted. "Youngsters don't know fear. Do you even know what that thing is?" 4th level beast. When the father a sort of arrogant being appears, he likes to roam around preaching as a special beast. They like to transform into human form. Preach everywhere. The stronger they are, the more followers chase after them. Once their congregation hits a certain number, they can advance to a new level, and their domain is the church. It looks sacred and inviolable, but inside it's terrifying. Anyone careless enough to enter will be indoctrinated. Eventually, they'll become nourishment for him and his followers. Old Li said sternly, "Do you realize? If you listen to their hymn any longer, you might have walked right into their domain next moment." Zhao Han didn't take it to heart. After all, to him, the beast hymn had no effect. He muttered to himself, "I mean, why didn't those 2 people try to get up and escape?" Turns out they were brainwashed. Seeing this, Old Li smacked Zhao Han's head hard. "You brat, what were you doing running over there for?" Zhao Han scratched his head, gave a sheepish grin. "Well, I heard someone screaming and got curious, so I went to check it out." He paused and then said, "Teacher, how did you find me?" Zhao Han was puzzled. Logically speaking, he activated his concealment, unless it was a cramped space, like last time when he got blocked in the alley by the Bellyache gang. Otherwise, no one should have found him so quickly. Old Li responded, rolled his eyes. "I smelled the barbecue on you." Zhao Han was speechless. Looks like the concealment still has flaws. He needs to find a real stealth technique someday. The two ran all the way out, only stopping when they were sure the father wouldn't catch up. Then they finally paused to rest. Xiaohan seemed to have thought of something. Teacher, about that fourth-level beast on the news. It couldn't be that priest, could it? Old Li nodded his head. It probably was. Besides him, most demon beasts have their own territories and won't just wander around aimlessly. So, what do we do next? Go back to the city? Old Li rolled his eyes at him. Why go back to the city? Have you earned enough money? Xiaohan pointed in the direction behind them. Teacher, aren't you afraid of running into the priest again? Old Li shrugged indifferently. I'm afraid, but you see, it's always full of danger outside the city. This is something you'll have to face in the future. Besides, he just passed through this area of ours. He won't be back for a while. So we just need to be careful next. At this moment, Xiaohan felt he understood old Li a bit more. He was not only cautious, but also bold yet meticulous. While speaking, old Li pulled a plastic bag out of his storage ring and handed it to Xiaohan. The bag contained half a roasted lean leg. Xiaohan looked delighted. Thank you, teacher. Old Li laughed and scolded him playfully. Hurry up and eat. After you're done, we'll do the next mission tonight. Xiaohan tore off a piece of meat and swallowed it, his mouth covered in grease. Teacher, it's the middle of the night. We should rest. Old Li looked at his watch. Rest? I just took a mission. To catch 2 night owls for the research institute. 300,000. In an hour or two, the night owls will come out to forage. Xiaohan sighed, feeling his life was hard for being stuck with such a workaholic teacher. However, what he didn't know was, old Li simply wanted, during these 2 months, to help Xiaohan earn as much money as possible, while also helping him improve his strength through actual combat. Xiaohan finished the half leg in his hand ravenously. After wiping himself clean, he walked to the side, took out a bottle of water from the system space to wash his hands, when a vibration came from near his thigh. Xiaohan grumbled. In the middle of the night, who's calling me? Who is it? Is this Su Liuxiang's family? This is Cayenne City, Fang's hospital. Hearing this, Xiaohan instantly felt a tightening in his heart. He remembered clearly. This was the hospital where his mother went for her regular checkups. The patient, Su Liuxiang, fainted during a routine checkup yesterday. She has been unconscious for a day and a night now. The water bottle in Xiaohan's hand dropped instantly. Just now, when our doctors went to check on her, they found her condition critical. She has been sent to the emergency room. The patient is currently in critical condition and needs a family member to sign the critical condition notice. You're in Cayenne City, right? Please come and sign as soon as possible. Xiaohan felt his vision go dark, unable to say a word for a long time. According to the regulations, before the family signs, we cannot take action on our own. Currently, we can only take measures to prevent the condition from worsening. So please return to the city to sign as soon as possible, or have a relative come to sign on your behalf. After the call ended, Xiaohan looked at old Li behind him in a panic. Teacher, I have to go back to the city immediately. At 3 a.m., Xiaohan rushed to the emergency room. Nanfang Zhu, dressed elegantly, quickly stopped him. Teacher Nanfang, how is my mom? Nanfang Zhu shook her head. I don't know yet. The doctors are still in there resuscitating her. To avoid delaying his mother's treatment, Xiaohan had called Nanfang Zhu while still outside the city and asked her to sign on his behalf. Xiaohan sat helplessly on a bench in front of the emergency room. He was anxious but powerless. At this time, old Li also rushed in. He and Nanfang Zhu exchanged a glance, and both tactfully remained silent. Time passed bit by bit. Xiaohan felt as if he were sitting on pins and needles every second. Half an hour later, a doctor in green scrubs walked out. Doctor, how is my mom? The doctor sighed. She's temporarily stable for now. But you should know, your mother suffers from Linley allergy syndrome. Currently, there is no specific cure for it. General patients usually fall into a coma from time to time. Though it's inconvenient, It's not fatal. The biggest fear is the condition worsening. Once it worsens, the patient falls into a deep sleep, leading to self-deception of the brain. Simply put, the brain thinks it's dead, and then issues death orders to various organs of the body. After a while, the patient will die of multiple organ failure. Jahan was losing control of his emotions. He urgently turned to the doctor for help. Doctor, is there no way to treat it? The doctor shook his head. Currently, it cannot be cured radically. The only thing we can do is what we're doing now, constantly stimulating the patient's nerves to prevent the brain from falling into self-deception. However, this kind of treatment can only maintain her basic life signs, and it's extremely expensive. For an ordinary family like yours, my advice is to give up treatment. Continuous investment will only increase your burden. How could Jahan give up? No, doctor. Since it can be treated, then treat her. It doesn't matter if I'm tired. I'm a spirit tamer. I can earn a lot of money in the future. The doctor looked at him, silent for a long time, as if there was something difficult to say. But when the words reached his lips, only one sentence remained. The patient's condition is temporarily stable. You can go to the ICU to see her in a while. In the intensive care unit, Su Liuxiang lay quietly on the hospital bed. On her body were various large and small tubes and machines. Jahan's heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. He held her hand tightly. Nan Fangzhu and old Li both looked at this scene with heartache, especially old Li. His heart was full of guilt. If he hadn't taken Zhao Han out for mercenary missions, perhaps Su Liuxiang wouldn't have fallen into such a state. A nurse walked in at that moment. She handed the bill in her hand to Zhao Han. Student Han, please go to the payment counter to pay the medical fees. Zhao Han blankly took the bill, and a sense of powerlessness arose from the bottom of his heart. Resuscitation plus treatment fees totaled 50 million. Follow-up continuous treatment fees are 4 million per month. He walked out of the ICU with an empty head, looking at the medical staff scattered in the hospital lobby, and the families waiting in front of other wards. For the first time, Zhao Han felt what it meant to be truly powerless. Even if he became a mercenary, he couldn't guarantee earning 4 million every month. His mind was in a mess, not knowing what to do. He was never the type of person who liked to beg others. As long as he could carry it himself, he definitely would. But now he simply didn't know how to carry this. Perhaps seeing that he hadn't returned for a long time. Old Li and Nan Fangzhu walked out of the ward. When they saw the exhausted Zhao Han, they only felt pity in their hearts. Nan Fangzhu said softly, Zhao Han, what's wrong? Although old Li didn't speak, his eyes were full of concern. Zhao Han forced a bitter smile. He stared at the string of numbers at the bottom of the bill. He muttered weakly, Teacher, what should I do? Nan Fangzhu and old Li followed Zhao Han's gaze. When they saw that string of zeros on the bill, they couldn't help but gasp. For an average breeder, a monthly payment of 5 million is really overwhelming. Not to mention that Zhao Han is just a student who hasn't graduated yet. The three fell silent for a long time. Old Li was the first to speak. Zhao Han, the commission payment from our task this time, plus a little of my own savings, adds up to more than 23 million. Send me your card number. I'll transfer it to you first. Zhao Han seemed not to hear. He kept staring blankly at the bill in his hands. In the end, it was Nan Fangzhu's tinkling voice that finally snapped Zhao Han out of it. Zhao Han, don't be afraid. I'll cover you. After saying this, she reached out to take the bill from Zhao Han, but Zhao Han didn't let go. He knew Nan Fangzhu was wealthy, but he didn't want to owe anyone money. Old Li glared at him and scolded harshly, Zhao Han, I know you're proud, but the one inside is your mom. You can't let your pride stop you from paying her medical bills. Zhao Han still wouldn't let go. Old Li's bad temper, gone for days, suddenly surged back. He was just about to explode when Nan Fangzhu stopped him. Zhao Han, this isn't charity from me as your teacher. This is money I'm lending you. You have to pay me back eventually, and I'll charge you interest. Zhao Han finally loosened his grip on the bill. Nanfang Zhu then took the bill and went to pay the fee. When Nanfang Zhu returned to the ICU, Zhao Han was still by Su Liuxiang's bedside. His eyes were full of endless guilt and concern. When he saw Nanfang Zhu come back, he took the receipt. Not only did Nanfang Zhu pay the treatment fee, she also prepaid 2 months of hospitalization costs, for a total of 60 million. Zhao Han bent deeply and bowed to the two of them. Teacher Nanfang, Teacher Li, thank you both. I'll pay you back as soon as I can. Nanfang Zhu quickly helped him up. You can pay me back later. But you have to know, right now there are 4th-tier monsters wandering outside the city. Don't go out just to make money. The two of them gave Zhao Han some earnest advice, and after spending a short while with him, seeing that he was still feeling down, they thought he needed some time alone, so they left the hospital. When the two walked out of the hospital, golden sunlight was spilling across the horizon. Nanfang Zhu gazed at the rising sun, breathing in the fresh morning air. She asked old Li next to her, Teacher Li, you notice something's off too, right? Old Li nodded. That doctor. By rights, a veteran doctor like that. They've all seen life and death. They don't have much sympathy for patients' families. But he just had to say so much to Zhao Han. Nanfang Zhu's eyes shifted. Those eyes seemed to hold 1,000 emotions. Yeah, and I have this feeling the doctor's last words meant something. Old Li went quiet. He seemed lost in thought. Mr. Nanfang, what do you think? Nanfang Zhu smiled helplessly. What can I say? It's not like any of us are watching their house. Mr. Nanfang, what do you think Zhao Han will do next? Nanfang Zhu shook his head. Hunt and do missions. Desperately earn money. I don't know either. Old Li couldn't help clicking his tongue. 4 million a month for hospitalization. That kid has to bet his life to earn it. He paused for a moment, then looked at Mr. Nanfang with some curiosity. We don't really know anything about his father. But since he's missing, didn't the higher-ups give the family any extra support? Nanfang Zhu crossed his arms and quietly replied, no way. Based on what I know so far, after Zhao Han's father had his accident, the authorities actually planned to give the Zhang family special care. They even wanted to assign people to protect them 24/7. But ever since Zhao Han's father had his accident, his mother developed a deep hatred for the Demon Suppression Army. She not only refused their protection, but even returned all the financial aid from the Demon Suppression Army each year. She sent back every penny without touching it. Old Li let out a sigh and didn't say any more. Shishan Camp Residential Building. Zhao Han's living room. Right now, Zhao Han was kneeling upright before his father's memorial tablet. 3 sticks of incense burned slowly. Thin threads of smoke curled up. His father's name on the memorial tablet looked so bright and sharp. But the long sword in front of the tablet seemed completely ordinary. It looked just like a regular sword. Mom's sick, and your son has no money. I have to discuss something with you. Do you think I could pawn your Keeling Wushuang? Don't worry. It's just for a little while. As soon as Mom gets through this, I'll redeem it right away. The living room fell into silence. Zhao Han bowed his head deeply. It felt like only this way could he not meet his own guilty gaze. Dad, if you don't say anything, I'll take that as you agreed. After that, he slowly stood up. He walked to the altar and picked up Wushuang. In an instant, a sword aura filled the room, looking down on the world. Spirit no. One slowly opened its eyes. After glancing at Wushuang for a moment, it closed its eyes again. Spirit no. 2 burst with battle intent. It wanted to compete with Wushuang, to see who's sharper. Spirit no. 18 believed. This was a worthy opponent. A series of voices echoed in Zhao Han's mind. Zhao Han couldn't help but look again at Wushuang in his hands. Looks like Dad's artifact spirit really is something else. Otherwise, these 18 powerful artifact spirits wouldn't even care about it. Zhao Han tried once again to channel his spiritual energy inside. The system notification sounded, as well as Spirit Wushuang. Please choose contract or refinement. Host. This was the first time since awakening his system that Zhao Han touched Wushuang. All his past failures echoed in his mind. Zhao Han instinctively thought it wouldn't work. But before he touched Wushuang's sword tip, he still wanted to try. The artifact spirit Wushuang's compatibility with the previous host is too high. Please wait 10 days before trying again, host. Dad's artifact spirit really is loyal. After he sighed, he took Wushuang and left the house. An hour later, he arrived near the Duobao Pavilion. As he was looking for a parking spot, in the milk tea shop across the street, a group of his rowdy buddies were messing around, when Du Ziaiteng happened to spot him. That kid's actually still alive. Looks like he didn't even get hurt. Ever since he set Zhao Han up the other day, he'd been hiding at home because he was nervous.
He was afraid Zhao Han might survive.
And with recruitment season coming up, if Zhao Han suddenly exposed what he'd done, no employer would ever give him a second look. After all, nobody wants to hire someone who likes to stab their teammates in the back. Not until 2 days ago, when he was sure the city patrol wouldn't come after him anymore, did he finally relax a little and went back to his usual attitude. But he never expected Zhao Han to be completely unscathed. He was overwhelmed with mixed feelings, and even his usual smile dropped. Hey, Tingjie, what's wrong? Fatty Sun noticed Du Ziaiteng's strange mood first. The others looked over too, and saw it as well. They all started asking him. Du Ziaiteng glanced at the 4 guys around him, then lowered his voice and said, I just saw Zhao Han. The others didn't care. So what if you did? Tingjie, let's not mess with him anymore. Damn, that guy is basically hacking. With F7705's physique, he'd beat all of us up like that. It's insane. Yeah. Something's off about that guy. Let's just stay away from him. Hearing this, Du Ziaiteng felt a surge of anger, but he forced himself to explain to everyone. He told them what happened between him and Zhao Han. After hearing that, everyone looked at each other. Tingjie, you said you set him up? Tingjie, not to be harsh, but he literally saved you. Even if you don't like him, you can't do that. Yeah, exactly. Hearing all their criticism, Du Ziaiteng's anger completely boiled over. He slammed the table, making the milk tea shop owner frown. But since they were all beast tamers, the milk tea shop owner could only take out his frustration on the lemon tea he was making. Du Ziaiteng glared angrily and cursed it under his breath. Damn it. You really think any of you are good people? Listen, I'm telling you, if this blows up, none of us are getting away with it. This was straight up organized and premeditated. Murder within the sanctuary city. If he wants to get revenge, our lives are all over. A heavy silence hung over everyone. Only now did they realize they might not be able to get away from this. After a while, someone finally asked, Tingjie, what should we do then? Du Ziaiteng looked around and slowly spat out, leave no loose ends.